What's up, everybody? I'm about to start soon. Just got out the shower. What's good, everybody? I'm about to start this shit up in 1 minute. Q, Moonflower, Sam, everybody. What's happening? Yeah, this is going to be a controversial video tonight. I was not really going to plan on doing a live tonight anyway, but I was watching a stream and something tells me this video has to be done because I want to explain my reasonings on certain shit. What's up, Alonzo? What's up, Ronnie, everybody? When did you do the word of mouth? We did word of mouth yesterday. Yesterday about 3ish, we did that review. Very, very dope album. Yeah, tomorrow is the Nori. Tomorrow is this review. Tomorrow, Thursday is King's Disease 2. Sunday is the Kanye graduation 50 Cent Curtis double review and stuff like that. Oh, you Mr. Soul already came out? Oh shit, I forgot. How did you like it, Sam? By the way, the Rick James documentary was very good. Expect my thoughts on that sometime this week. Shit. Oh my god. Happy Labor Day, by the way, everybody. Hope everyone, all my people that's working, had a day off today. Hope everybody just rested today. I usually call Labor Day the last official day of summer because everyone always makes a crack saying, oh, you can't wear white after Labor Day. Plus, I'm kind of glad because that fall time weather kind of came a little earlier than expected. So I am kind of grateful about that. Okay, what else am I missing? I got my pillows, got my list. Okay, got my drink. Okay, I think I'm about to start after I put my towel in the bathroom. All right, I am about to start. Yes. What is good, everybody? Welcome to another episode. Well, let me scratch that. This is a very special episode. It's going to be a 2-part series. It's going to be the top 12 overrated, underrated hip-hop albums. Next week, sometime I'm going to do this edition for R&B. Hope everyone is having a good day. So I've been kind of, I've been kind of teasing you guys about this list over the past couple of weeks and stuff like that. These are albums, in my opinion, that I find to be very underrated. These are albums. Well, I'm going to start with the overrated part first and shit like that because that's what I really want to go into. So these are albums that I found to be very overrated in hip hop, and the criteria for this list for an album that I consider to be overrated, I want to base it off, of course, my personal preference. Oh, damn. Rest in peace to Michael K. Williams, by the way. You guys should know he's a very dope actor. Most famous, for his roles like in The Wire, the recently unfairly canceled Lovecraft County and shit like that too. You know what I'm saying? Very, very dope actor and shit. You know what I'm saying? He was also on. Hold on, I gotta pull up that one shit. Come on, laptop. He was also on Boardwalk Empire. He was also on that shit too. The name escaped for me and shit. So yeah, he was 54 and pretty much they say he passed away from they don't actually know, but a lot of people are trying to say, oh, drugs. And this is my fucking thing. This is just my fucking thing. If people don't know exactly what the dude died from and stuff like that, don't automatically assume drugs and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And it's always with black celebrities that they do this shit with, like drugs or, without an actual official autopsy or anything like that. But yeah, this came out as a shock and shit like that because I was literally driving and I saw Michael K. Williams die. I was like, what the fuck? So, damn, this is a shock as fuck. But rest in peace. And yes, Ronnie, he was also on Trapped in the Closet. To be honest, a role I try to forget he was in, but you know what? Let's celebrate his life. And yeah, I didn't know Pop put him on his first acting role. I never knew that. I actually saw a subscription from Discretion TV and stuff. To be honest, this is actually like a solo video to Sam and shit like that. Because like I said, this was like a last minute. This was a last minute video. And yeah, there's my phone. Yeah, this was like a last minute video and stuff like that. So yeah. That's why I didn't really tell like a lot of people. But I did tell them that I was going live and stuff like that, just in case y'all want to talk about this, because yeah, that's the thing about it and shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. But without further ado, let me get this shit started. So like I said, I want to start with like the overrated hip hop albums, and this is gonna be very controversial. Because I know, like, with a lot of these albums, I know there's a lot of fans that like certain albums and stuff like that. I try not to do a lot of albums that I've talked about on this channel. Like, it's getting a little hot. Let me take this roll off. I'm sorry, because I don't know why my room just got hot out of nowhere. But yeah, as I was saying, I try not to do albums that I previously talked about on the channel and stuff like that because of the fact that I've heard what I have to say about those albums, and usually I like to just go watch the review and stuff like that. But I picked a few surprising albums that like I said, it's gonna be like throughout like 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s. Hell, I might even have a few. I try not to put anything after 2017. I think 2017, that's like my deadline and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Because, yeah, I just felt like these are albums that I've heard all throughout my life and shit like that. So, yeah, man, a lot of surprising albums y'all gonna see. Okay, without further ado, let's start this shit. All right. So my very first album that I am going to talk about for the overrated hip hop albums, Jadakiss with Kiss of Death. Yes. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to start with Jadakiss's Kiss of Death. This was an album that I reviewed, I reviewed a while back ago and stuff like that. And this was a very weird time for Jadakiss. Well, not like weird, but this was pretty much around the time when he was getting like a lot more popularity or commercial appeal and shit like that. And one thing about this album, and you're gonna see like a lot of albums that are pretty much based off a single. It's gonna be pretty much based off of. Hey, God, who the fuck is this? God fucking damn it! Hey, well, motherfuckers call me every time I do a fucking video. Sorry about that. Yeah, you're gonna see like a lot of. I'm sorry, but I just have a certain thing about motherfuckers calling me throughout my fucking videos and shit like that. And I just lost my train of thought. So, but like I said, a lot of people don't even know I'm doing the video. So, okay, Jadakiss. All right, so the Kiss of Death, 2004. So this is pretty much one of those albums that was based off a very successful single and stuff like that. And the single, of course, was Why with Anthony Hamilton. I might be sacrilegious, but I'm so tired of Why. I mean, I get it. It's one of those political songs. Jadakiss, didn't really talk about like that. Never really touched on that avenue and stuff like that. Which, yeah, I get it. However, I hear the album, and the album pretty much was just. And I recently mentioned this when I talked about the RULE album and stuff like that. It pretty much expressed 2004 in a bad way and stuff like that. And what I mean by that is like you can listen to the album and automatically know it's from 2004, just how the beats are, the style, because 04, 03, I don't know, something about those years in hip hop, production wise and stuff like that, it was just like everybody was trying to do that whole acoustics, those synths kind of sounds and stuff like that. And I do think that this album is kind of overrated because sequencing wise, and I hate when albums do this, they put some of the best songs or the worst songs in the top and stuff like that. I didn't care for Shine like that. I didn't care for What You So Mad At. You Make Me Wonder with Mariah Carey has got to be one of the worst songs from Jadakiss. But I feel like everything after real hip hop, is where it gets more better and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I do like Shootouts. I do like Welcome to D Block and stuff like that. Shit like that. But again, it's like it puts the worst songs in the beginning, but then it puts the better songs throughout the end and stuff like that. I'm going to mention the Thugs Need Love era with a certain album and stuff like that, Ronnie. And I don't really consider this album like a Thugs Need Love and stuff like that. I don't consider that, but at the same time, it's borderline. That's all I'm going to say. But yeah, man. To me, I just felt like Jadakiss was his best album was the. Shut up, everybody! Why is everyone texting me now? For God's sakes! No problem. Okay, I got you. Damn. God, everyone's texting me and shit. Text. These. All right, never mind. Whew. Put my phone on vibrate. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, Jadakiss, the Kiss of Death. Yeah. And like I usually do with these lists, a lot of these lists are not gonna be based off really when I do these lists, I'm not gonna do like 11, 10. This is not the kind of list for it. I'm just gonna do like go off by my list. But if I do say something like, oh, it's gonna be my top 2, then I'm gonna notify that, you know what I'm saying? So all right, so now we're gonna get into my next choice. Again, another album that came out in 2004. Twista's Kamikaze. I know what everybody is thinking. Reggie, how could you hate this album? This was Twista's comeback. This has slow jams, overnight celebrity. Come on, man. Now you really tripping. Okay. I I heard this album, and I'm gonna be real with you. It's one of those albums again. A lot of guest appearances. This is around the time again. Slow jams. This is when Kanye was really, really popping and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Because the Twister that I like personally, I like the Twister from the '90s, like Resurrection Twister, Adrenaline Rush Twister. Y'all motherfuckers don't know about Adrenaline Rush. Y'all motherfuckers don't know about that shit. You know what I'm saying? When he was with the speedball mops, that shit. You know what I'm saying? I hear that fucking slow jam like my gay, that little van drive, a little. I get it. I like it. I get it. But again, just like with Kiss of Death, people only base the success of that album off that one single and stuff like that. Because I did not care for Overnight Celebrity. I'm gonna be real. I'm sick and tired of that Lenny Williams "Cause I Love You" song. I'm sick and tired of that song and shit like that. Um, he got motherfuckers like it's like again. Even look at the guest appearances. Like I'm gonna say 3 guest appearances. Like check this out. He got Too Short, Jazzy Faye, and R. Kelly. Like that So Sexy track. Oh my god, that's another bad track I really didn't like. Yeah, man, this whole album, like the Twister, anything after maybe 2002, 3-ish, I'm kind of hit or miss with Twister. Like again, I like Twister. I respect his crap. The fast rap, I respect it. But to me, it's not really that good. Like, and I'm gonna talk about Adrenaline Rush when I talk about the underrated hip hop albums. Spoiler alert. So, yeah. Um, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. That was a contender, but I'm not gonna lie. I kind of picked another couple other overrated albums because I feel like with that review we done and stuff like that. I expressed all of my points on that one. So yeah. Like now, another overrated album. Ja Rule, Pain is Love. So a album I recently reviewed on, we recently talked about. I mean, I'm not really going to spend too much time with this one because, like I said, this was a recent review and stuff. But it's crazy because whenever people talk about Ja Rule, whenever people mention Ja Rule and shit like that, it's always mentioning this album first. It's always Pain is Love, Pain is Love, Pain is Love. Always on time. Yeah, and like, I like living it up. But when I look at Ja Rule's discography, and pretty much when it comes to Ja Rule, his discography is pretty interesting because, and I've expressed this before, I felt like the Rule 336 album, when it comes to the balance between the rap and the R&B or the pop R&B, whatever you want to call it, that was the only album I feel like it was well balanced in his discography. Because Vidi Vidi Vici, pretty much, it was more like that thuggish, like rah rah rah, that kind of shit, which I love. I love Vidi Vidi Vici. That's to me, that's Ja Rule at his rawest and darkest form, in my opinion. But like when I talk about Murder Inc. Records, and it's funny too because shout out to Thoughts Crimes, shout out to them. They done a very dope video when it came to like backpack rap. I hate that term by the way, and they were talking about Ja Rule and Murder Inc. and stuff like that too. And I pretty much said like, Murder Inc. They never really had an image compared to like Rockefeller and Rough Riders and shit like that too, because with Rockefeller and Rough Riders, they had their image and stuff like that. It wasn't just always the rah rah shit, Murder Inc. And this is what coming from them. They felt like Ashanti, when Ashanti came in the fold, that was when they pretty much blew up and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And I agree. I agree and shit like that too. And yeah, man, cause and even like when I hear Pain is Love and shit like that, like the I'm Real Murder remix, everyone knows that, that was originally a Shanti song before Irv Gotti, fulfilled his masturbation dreams on J Lo and shit like that too. I did not care for the So Much Pain track, the whole Tupac shit, and this was the beginning of the whole this was really the beginning of the whole Pac, Ja Rule, the Pac comparison, like whatever and shit like that. What else? A lot of these songs I read in there. This is like a review I've recently done a review on and shit like that. Yeah, I don't want to spend too much time on this. This is Ja Rule, Pain is Love. Okay. Now we're really about to get into some real controversial takes. I don't give a fuck. Drake's Nothing Was the Same. There's certain albums I sometimes just don't understand the appeal sometimes and shit like that. This is an album that's one of them. Now, if you guys watch this channel over the years, I'm not really. Well, yeah, people did compare Pac and DMX too, but at the same time, X was really just being himself and shit. Because X wasn't really doing what Ja Rule was doing. That's all I gotta say. But yeah, so yeah, Nothing Was the Same. Yeah, I'm hearing Moonflower say best album in my opinion. Well, I respect your opinion, but I'm more of a Take Care person. I'm not really, like I said, I'm not really like the biggest Drake person, but I gotta talk about this shit. This album to me was really the beginning, and I'm being honest opinion of the whole him trying to repackage his albums. Like, if you listen to one Drake album, I'll be real, you've heard them all. I'm gonna be honest, very honest. Take Care was really like his best album front to back. And I'm not really like the biggest Drake fan and shit, but production wise, style wise, to me, this album to me was Take Care light. Yeah, Try. I know you like this album. I know. Hey, Try, if you want to jump on and argue with me, man, I don't give a fuck. Cause so far I've said Jadakiss, your favorite rapper, Kiss of Death. I said Twista, Kamikaze. I said Ja Rule, Pain is Love. So I'm just now getting started and shit. But yeah, I did not care for that whole fucking Wu-Tang Forever track and shit like that. I did not care for that bullshit. Like, yeah, he labels it as a tribute. He labels it as a tribute. But this is my thing, and this is one thing I fucking hate. Why would you call it Wu-Tang Forever when you talking about a fucking female and shit? And I'm glad Inspector Deck said, yo, don't use our name unless it's like really like you really talk about the Wu and shit. Pretty not in those words and shit, but still. And yeah, and then they used the whole It's Your song from 1997's Wu-Tang Forever, ironically, which y'all should know your hip hop history. That was originally T-La Rock's song from '84, the first song on Def Jam Records. I hate Hold On, We're Going Home. Pound Cake. I didn't really care for all this shit. He got Janae Aiku, and I'm not gonna lie. This was Eat the Booty Like Groceries, Janae Aiku and shit like that, which I only started appreciating Janae to when she did like the fucking Trip album. I already sent the link, by the way. Try sent the link when she did the Trip out. Okay, hold up, Bino. Carter 3 is not overrated. Let's stop right there. Let's stop right there. Oh shit. Let's stop right there. It's not overrated. Let's slow your roll. Oh, but yeah, and the production was like way more lighter and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? The production was just not really that good. This was really the beginning of Drake becoming a punchline when it came to overly sensitive niggas and shit like that. And again, motherfuckers say, I saw a post about this. Y'all talk about Future being all this hard motherfucker and shit like that. Features like the antithesis of Drake. Future does the same shit. He just more masculine about it. I'm just gonna be real. Yeah. So that's Nothing Was the Same. Huh, I'm just getting started, man. Jedi Mind Tricks, Violent by Design. Yeah, Jedi Mind Tricks, Violent by Design is on this list. Now, I was kind of skeptical on putting this album on this list because, again, I like Jedi Mind Tricks, but I've never really been the biggest Jedi fan. You know what I'm saying? I like the very first album. And a lot of people think this album, Violent by Design, is their first. It's not their first album. The first album was called The Psychosocial, Chemical, Biological, and Electromagnetic Manipulation of Human Consciousness. In other words, the Psychosocial CD or the Psychosocial album. And yes, I like saying the long ass title too. I like saying that. Now, this album, I don't generally dislike Violent by Design. I don't dislike this album. I feel like it's a very solid album. But to me, it's like one of those albums that the underground community likes to praise upon a lot. Like, and I've seen like a lot of underground cat and I hate when underground cats be like, oh well, just because it's underground and shit like that, it's automatically gonna be good. And I hate that fucking note because I've heard some shitty ass underground albums and shit like that, especially from like 90s, 2000s. This album to me was just, it was good, but it wasn't great. I've always felt like that, you know what I'm saying? It's way better than the joint that they came out with in 03. So, yeah, man. I know a lot of the hip hop heads are crucifying me, but hey, fuck it. Moving on. Logic. Everybody. Another rapper, pretty much, that the whole backpack rapper, you know, pretty much, you know, whenever we mention backpack rap, he's like one of those guys in this day and age. I like Logic, but I don't like how preachy he can get with his music and shit. And there was one song, pretty much that everyone knows, that suicide song and shit like that, that 1-800. I love the song, I like the message, but to me, whenever artists they do like a preachy song that touched the generation, okay, what the hell is going on? That touched the generation and shit like that, you know, when it speaks to like a proficient cause. Personally, they want to overly preach their music and shit like that. TLC, when they did Waterfalls and shit, you know, they pretty much wanted to do unpretty damage, you know. I did not care for that. I didn't care for unpretty and shit like that, so I really didn't care. But yeah, with this album, when it comes to Logic, I mostly prefer mixtape Logic. I'm not even like I'm not the biggest Logic fan either, but mixtape Logic to me was him at his it was him at his zenith and shit like that. Same way I feel about Wiz. Oh, look, Try's here. Oh, what's Try gonna say today? Shit. What is Try gonna say today? Oh shit. But yeah, man, didn't really care, like I said, when it comes to everybody, I didn't really care for there's only one track I really would put above a lot. It's the one with if my laptop would rise up. Okay. It's what called America with Black Thought, Chuck D, Big Lambo, and No ID. That's probably like my favorite track, but I didn't really care for Confess, even though I like Killer Mike. Was
Oh my
good.
god. Is this like one of these spontaneous live streams? Because I thought we were actually going to be doing this topic. I didn't know you picked Labor Day to do it.
Oh well,
This is like a drunken rant. So
I didn't know you really wanted to join. I mentioned it. I didn't know you wanted to join and shit.
what you mean? Yeah, I thought we was. I even made a list. I made a list.
Oh damn!
But when he told me yes, because when he told me weeks ago, I made the list.
Oh damn! Okay. Shit, because I literally thought you didn't want to join this one. Because when I mentioned some of the albums that was going to be on the list and shit, you was like, "Oh hell no."
No, I was saying, well, this is all subjective. My list is all subjective. To me, there's some albums on here that to me are way overrated, but that's just me. Everybody else might love it.
Yeah.
I'm saying when you told me weeks ago, because if I didn't write it down, I would have forgot. So when you told me weeks ago, I already made the list.
Oh, my fault, man.
I still got to make. One list that I still got to make is the Procter and Gamble list.
Oh yeah, yeah. I didn't make the Gamble and Huff list anyway, shit. So, but my fault about that. I could have sworn, but yeah, I already mentioned a few albums. I know you got mad about a few albums and shit.
What did you mention that I'd liked? What did you mention?
Pain is Love, Kamikaze.
Is it overrated? I don't feel like it's over. I feel like it's just where it's at. You think it's overrated?
Yeah. I feel like
Why?
Pain is Love is the overrated album.
That's not even his best album though.
Well, a lot of people.
They feel like that's his best album.
You said what?
They feel like that's his best album. Cause I always say Ruthie 36.
A lot of people like the contemporary mainstream crowd. They would say that album.
Wow.
But the hip hop heads would say Beady Beady Beachy or even Rule 336 or whatever.
I don't think that's his best album. Pain and Love is dope. I don't think that's his best album though.
Oh wow.
I still got his first two over Pain is Love. And I love Last Temptation. I still got Last Temptation over that one.
Yeah. I even mentioned Kiss of Death from Jadakiss.
That's overrated to you?
Yeah, very overrated.
Why? Why is that overrated?
Because it's one of those albums that people want to base it off a single, pretty much. And
what was the Wire song?
yeah.
It's a great record. I still feel like the album is outdated though. I feel like there's some tracks on there that sound like 2004, but I don't think it's overrated. I just feel like it's not a great sophomore album for him.
Oh wow. Yeah, man. I feel like Kiss the Game Goodbye. That was his best one and shit.
What's NWTS? What's that?
Nothing Was the Same by Drake.
You think that's overrated too? Why? Because of the hit single?
I just personally, I feel like the production on that record to me, that was really the beginning of Drake repackaging his album. Because to me, I felt like that one was like Take Care light, in my opinion.
Right.
The same way how I feel this whole Scorpion is Views from the Sixth Light or whatever. It's like just does the same shit with the albums and shit. And people make it out to seem like it's a masterpiece because he has that Wu-Tang track, that Pound Cake bullshit.
They didn't even want to work with him, and he tried. What happened with that remix? Like he did the remix with them, but it's not released.
I don't know what happened to that remix. I don't know. Shit.
I feel like low key they didn't want to work with him, or they were doing that to reintroduce themselves to this generation. Something happened with that remix, and it's not released or whatever. Right? I thought Nothing Was the Same was a dope album. I like what Kristen mentioned because I have 444 as my number one most overrated album. I think The
Okay.
the the fandom for this album is ridiculous, and I understand why, because a lot of these kids were not around in '96. I get it. So to them coming up, if you're 13, 14 years old and you're looking at Jay Z right now, to them 444 is their reasonable doubt. I get it, but this is why I say go back and listen to your history, because when you listen to Reasonable Doubt, when you listen to the Blueprint, Hard Knock Life Volume 2, when you listen to those albums, those are really way better than 444. Every track better than 4. Black Album included. I'm putting the Black Album in there. I think that's a classic as well. Every track was solid. 444, there was some bangers, but at this point, to me, where No ID is at, I'd rather hear No ID with Common when he was doing Resurrection and doing One Day It'll All Make Sense, compared to I don't think he gave him that real thump like he gave Common in the '90s. It's some bangers. I love the song he did with Damian Marley. I love the Bam joint. You know what I'm saying? I love Story of OJ. Those are bangers. You know, where he talked about. I will say it's an album that he should have came out with back in the 2000s when he was married to Beyonce and they were just starting a family. But he waited until he cheated on her to come out with this album. But it's not one of my favorite. If we had to do a Jay Z ranking, it's gonna be very low on the list. It's not one of my favorite Jay Z albums. I don't think it stands up with his classic shit. I think that's very highly overrated.
Interesting.
You know
Okay.
what I'm saying? I don't know how you feel about 444.
I mean, I'm not gonna get mad at people saying that it's overrated. I'm gonna be real with you, because I personally I do like the album and whatnot, but at the same time, I do admit people. There's some fans that like to say,
No,
"Oh
but,
my god."
without the fandom, just on the music alone, without the fandom and the reviews, and I'm talking about just the music. If you're playing a Jay Z album, what is your go-to Jay Z album? 'Cause I get it's not this, right? It's not 444,
Hell no.
right? If you had to pick four go-to Jay Z albums to play on the regular, is 444 going to be part of those four?
No.
That's my whole point. That's my whole point. So when people, and I'm throwing Nas in there too. Nas made this list, both King Disease albums, because I've heard people say when King Disease Part 1 came out that it was a classic, it's better than Godson. I'm like, oh, y'all nuts. Do y'all
Nah.
forget how dope Godson was? You know what I'm
Nah.
saying? I'm like, this is not, and I love both of these dudes are legends. I've seen Jay-Z in concert. I have yet to see Nas. They're legends. But let's not get carried away and act like these are your go-to albums from these artists. You know what I'm saying? Because I guarantee you, if people have to make a top 5 or top 4 go-to Jay-Z and Nas albums, none of these albums would be in that discussion. That's my whole point. We get carried away sometimes by our legends growing up because we want to hear the best always from them. But they're not always gonna drop their best shit. They might drop some mediocre shit, and that's cool. Because we already know what classics Jay Z got. We already know what classics Nas got. You know what I'm saying? So they don't have to prove nothing to me at this point. I've already seen it. I was there. You know what I'm saying? But people get carried away by the name and the legacy of the artist. So if Rolling Stones drop an album tomorrow and people hear it, it's automatically it's a great Rolling Stones album because it's the Rolling Stones. You know what I'm saying? That could be one of their worst albums ever in their discography. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I hear it because of that artist, but I don't get carried away in the moment and be like, oh, this is the best shit ever from Nas, because no. You know what I'm saying? No, this is, in my opinion, this is not, King's Disease is not better than Godson. Okay? If you want to say it's better than Nostradamus, that's cool. Not better than Godson to me. You want to say it's better than Hip Hop Is Dead, that's cool. I didn't care for that album. Or even Untitled. But I feel like when it comes to these artists, the fan base gets carried away. You know what I'm saying? And we have to stop that shit. I'm not going off for what. Stop worrying about what people got to say about whatever album. You know what I'm saying? You got to go by what you feeling. You know what I'm saying? Is this your go-to album? If it's not your go-to album, then how can you call it a classic? Because a classic, last time I understood what a classic was, is something you keep going back to. Not something that comes out today and you call it a classic and then next year you forget all about it. People get caught up in the moment. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's what I'm saying. It's like 444 was a dope album for where he was in his life right now. Because he's not gonna talk about he's not going back to in my lifetime and talking about flipping bricks and shit. He's not living that life anymore. You know what I'm saying? So it's a perfect album that describes where he's at right now in his life. But is are you going back to that album? If you're not going back to 444 or King's Disease, then how the fuck is it a classic? You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
So that's my thing. That's my thing on when these albums drop. I'm not going back to 444 and bumping it like I would the classics from J or even the underrated joints like Volume 1. You know what I'm saying? Or Volume 3 or American Gangster. Same thing with Nas. You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm going back to Nas albums, I'm going back to the first three. You know, then Stillmatic, then Godson. You know, and then after Godson, Lost Tapes 1. You know, then I might bump Street Disciple. I really enjoyed that album, even though it wasn't a classic album. But he got bangers on that double album. You know what I'm saying? Distant Relatives. I'm going back to those albums. I'm not going back to King's Disease. You know what I'm saying? If to me, I feel like he could have did a whole EP and just take songs from part one and part two and put it all together on one project. It would have been dope. I don't personally I wouldn't have picked Hit Boy. I think Hit Boy is overrated for him. If you give those tracks that Hit Boy gave Nas to Drake, I think Drake would have killed it. In my opinion. I think it's more tailor made for Drake than Nas is. That's just me. You
Drake.
know what I'm saying? What something happened? If people that heard the Benny album is fire. I don't know what Benny did to Hit Boy. Maybe he had a gun to his head, but Hit Boy sound totally different on
Hey yo,
Burden. He sound totally different on Burden of Proof compared to King's Disease. You know what
I
I'm saying?
agree.
So every producer is not made for everybody. You know what I'm saying? You know, like yeah, like even with the Diamond D album with Talib, I like that album. The Gotham album was dope, but Diamond D, it's not his best shit with Talib. You know what I'm saying? Diamond D, to me, he made his best shit with the DITC members. You know what I'm saying? So that's just me. Maybe people feel like, oh, Talib, the Gotham album is great. It's a dope album. It's not a classic album. You know what I'm saying?
I
So
agree.
yes, I do have 444 and King's Disease on the list. 'Cause I think they're overrated.
Interesting. I'm gonna turn my thermostat down before I come back to my list. Give me 1 second.
It's it's not a competition. But if we're talking overrated albums, or we're talking about albums that people go back to, or you going back to half of these albums that people feel like are classic. That's what I'm saying. Because if they're not in your heavy rotation and you don't find yourself going back to these albums, then how is it a classic to you?
I can't wait to hear what Try has to say about KD2.
How do I feel about Jay not being in your top 10 MCs? I mean, that's your list. You know what I'm saying? I don't get it in all that, who didn't make somebody's list, because that's everybody's list is different.
I agree. All right.
Exactly, Moonflower. It takes time. You know what I'm saying? You grow up with classics. You don't a classic is not grown on trees. You don't have a classic overnight. Not my favorites either. They're not whack. It's just not my. It's just I would have just chose a different producer. There's so many other producers out here he could have worked with. But I get what he's saying, because I watched the interview that he did with Ebro, and he's saying that he didn't want to work with producers that had an ego, which means that that probably happened in the past, but he didn't say no name. So that could be anybody. It could have been Primo, could have been Pete Rocky talking about, I don't know. His whole thing was he wanted to do the music at this, like the music that he's making with Hit Boy, he's happy with at this point in his career, and that's cool. But I will never put it out of the realm that he'll never do nothing again with Primo. There's always that possibility. So I don't care for the King's Disease albums, but I understand what he's talking about.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna say my next album. This one might be controversial. Pop Smoke, Shoot for the Stars, Aim for the Moon.
Okay.
I know. Oh, the motherfucker died and shit like that.
I didn't listen to him when he was alive, so I have
Same.
nothing to say. I have nothing to say about it. That's just me.
Most of y'all motherfuckers listened to him when he died. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. Let's call a spade a spade.
Right.
This nigga was just coming off. And this is what kind of irritates me about this generation. And I'm gonna be real with you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sick and tired of these. I'm sick and tired of everyone talking shit about hip hop, today's hip hop and stuff like that. But when a
Right.
motherfucker dies and shit, they're automatically a goat.
Right.
Where the hell? But
Mm-hmm.
then you have motherfuckers who actually do some real hip hop. But oh, it's boring hip hop.
Right.
Oh, it's grown man's hip hop.
Right.
Um, Pop Smoke falls in that. Like I said, I'm sorry he died. I'm sorry he died. Nothing. Parents should not have to bury the kid.
Mm-hmm.
But let's be real. The motherfucker did post his address on
Did
Instagram.
he posted his address? Oh, was he?
Accidentally on Instagram and shit.
What do you mean accidentally? What is it?
He
What does that
zoomed
mean?
into it. They say he zoomed into it, and then he zoomed out of it. And some motherfucker took a screenshot, and pow pow.
Crazy.
My question is, like I said, I'm being honest. I might get some unsubscribers, but I don't give a fuck no more. I sick and tired of these young niggas trying to act all tough and shit. Sick and tired of young niggas trying to act all tough and shit, and knowing that they not about that life. And then motherfuckers wonder how come they died and shit. But those some shit like this. But that's another story for a different day. Like, but anyway, I heard the album after he died.
Mm-hmm.
Keyword after he died.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't hit me. I'm gonna be real. It did not hit me. And I heard songs like "For the Night," "The Woo," which that's like the one of the signature songs and shit like that. And it's like it's like he's like one of those New York rappers that's just not. It's just following what everybody else is doing
Right.
and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And yes, Christian, thank you. They praise Pop Smoke, but they give a lot of shit to Prodigy.
But what shit did they give the Prodigy though?
Like how they sometimes because some people say, "Oh, Prodigy sometimes can get too boring."
Prodigy.
Post
I've never heard nobody say that. Prodigy was boring to people.
after Jay Z dissed him, like they will talk a lot of
No.
shit about Prodigy
Wait.
after Jay Z dissed him and shit, or his
On you mean
pen
like
game.
on the Blueprint?
Like after the Blueprint, people will say how some of his pen game with that one album he did with the Alchemist was lazy sometimes and shit like
What?
that. Yeah,
Albert Einstein was lazy? Nah,
people say that.
they
Yes,
bugging. Nah,
they said
they
they
wrong.
all say like Return of the Mac was
I love that.
like people
Classic
will talk
mixtape.
mad shit about Prodigy
Classic
when he was
mixtape.
alive,
Nah,
but then one
they
more
wrong.
like when Prodigy died, when Prodigy fucking died, that's when all these niggas were saying, "Oh, he was like the Rakim of his lane and shit," which I find that to be prosperous.
Wow.
Cause I love rock, I love Prodigy,
Who
but
who is saying this
let's
shit though?
rap genius form motherfuckers and shit. But let's
My
get back to
okay.
Pop Smoke. Yeah, I never cared for this album. I felt like he was a dollar store 50 cent just based off his voice and shit. I'm gonna be real. Yeah, I don't give a fuck no more. I have to say this shit. Yeah.
Infamy was a dope album. It just it to me it wasn't as great as the previous albums that they had, but it was dope. It's not whack. To me, Prodigy was still in his bag even after the Jay-Z diss.
I agree.
Return of the Mac is a classic mixtape. Classic mixtape. Albert Einstein is a classic album. Okay, he made his best stuff solo wise with the Alchemist. I love HNIC too. I thought that was underrated. You know what I'm saying?
It was I.
Only one I didn't really care for was Part 3. I thought the production could have been better on HNIC 3. I even like the Albert Johnson album. That was severely slept on. You know what I'm saying? But I've never heard nobody say that about Prodigy. At least not here in New York. I never that didn't go on. Like we still miss Prodigy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, in New York, he gets his love in New York, but outside of New York and shit like that, especially when Sam said Pac fans. Cause I seen a lot of Pac channels talk mad shit about Prodigy and shit like
I
that when he
mean
died and shit. Believe it or not.
the overhype for artists after they die is real. That happened with Pac. It happened with Prince. It always happens. Jimi Hendrix. The list goes on. It always happens. That's a real thing. You know, Sean Price. How many like new fans of Sean Price came out after he passed away?
I
You know what
agree.
I'm saying? That's always been a thing. That's never gonna stop. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what it is. That's not something that we can stop. It's just part of society. You know what I'm saying? But um, I don't the vibe when at least for Sean Price and Prodigy over here, it's always been the same. So that never changed after they passed away. It's always we always had love for those artists, and
Right.
we will continue to pay tribute to them. Big Pun, all of our fallen artists. Aaliyah, same thing with her. It's always gonna be the same for us. So I never heard that about Prodigy. That's just and that must be something out of the city that's going on. You know, I don't know. BJ
What's
was
your
good.
next
My next album is going to be J. Cole for Your Eyes Only. I think that is his most overrated album. I like
album?
some songs. I was just talking about that album with somebody. I like songs like Ville Mentality and Changes and um Folding Clothes for whatever reason got shitted on and got hated on. I heard people saying that's a song that Drake could do, which is probably true. But again,
Recent.
where this man is in his life, he's married with kids. I would rather hear him talk about what's going on actually in his life than talking about shit that he's not doing. Everybody cannot do shit that Griselda's doing. You know what I'm saying? Everybody cannot do what Rick Ross is doing. So if J. Cole is a happily married man with kids and he's folding clothes for his wife, let him talk about it. That's the same issue I got with Donda. Like if Kanye is in a place where he's not using religion to make dollars, and he's really at a place in his life where he has given his life to the Lord, let him talk about it. What is the issue with people hating on Donda because it like he's not Louis Vuitton Don Kanye no more? Okay, we just lost Michael K. Williams today. He committed suicide. God
He
forbid
committed suicide.
tomorrow. Yes, he's dead.
I
You
know
didn't
he's
know
dead,
that?
but they didn't say how he died and shit.
Yes, it was a drug overdose. Yes.
Oh wow.
You know what I'm saying? They found him in his New York apartment dead. A drug overdose. Okay? God forbid, and I said this days ago, God forbid that was Kanye. If Kanye did the same thing, you would see all these fake Kanye fans come out of the woodwork and be like, "Oh, I've always loved Kanye." Meanwhile, you didn't play Kanye for a whole decade. Okay? If this is Kanye's way of saving himself, let him do it. And we as black people need to support that. Not talk shit about the album and we always do that to our own artists and tear them down because they're doing something that we don't agree with. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to like King Disease 1 and 2, but if Nas is in a happy place where he don't want to work with egotistical producers and Hit Boy makes him happy, let him do it. We don't gotta like it. I know his classics already. You feel me? If he's happy doing that, then instead of God shit, I'd rather hear him do shit with Hit Boy than to hear him do some fucking trap. You know? Let him do it. We don't gotta like it. I know his classics from 20 years ago. I'm content with that. He don't have to drop another classic for me at all ever again. I'm content with what he dropped the last 20 years. Okay? That's my take on that. If Kanye is happy and to me he sounds focused on Donda, and he took a while to do this, he didn't rush that album like he did with Pablo and the rest of that other shit that he was coming out with, let him be. Okay? You want to hear Louis Vuitton Don? Go back to College Dropout. Go back to Late Registration, the mixtapes. Go back to those. I don't. He's not doing Louis Vuitton Don Kanye again. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? We need to accept where these artists are in their life. They're not going to be in the same place. J. Cole is a married man with kids. He's not running around being single. If he wants to talk about folding clothes, let him talk about it. But I still believe this album was overrated. You know,
Yeah,
I don't feel like it's a classic. I feel like his best albums, All Forest Hills Drive and Born Center, highly underrated. Kids on Drugs, I love that album. I think that was highly underrated. I think those are his best albums. You know, including the mixtapes. I'm throwing the mixtapes in, the warm up and Friday Night Lights, classic mixtapes. But you know, people feel like 4 Yards Only is great. I'm like, it had some bangs. I don't think it's a great album. I don't think it's fucking with Forest Hills Drive and Born Center. You know, that's just me.
you know, it's crazy too because I've always thought For Your Eyes Only was his. Is next maybe his weakest album, but at the same time,
Why? Salute to Jessica.
what's
I
up,
guess you're
Just?
new here. I never seen you. I guess you're new here. Salute to you. I don't know why. BJ would probably agree with you, Jessica, because he says that Donda's on some weird shit. I don't get the weirdness. What is so weird about the album? What part of the album was weird? The fact that he's given his life to Christ. And I'm not a religious person. I'm just saying if this is what this man is, where he's at in his life, and he's happy, let him be. He's not out there fucking supermodels anymore and getting drunk on MTV Awards. He's not doing that no more. He's in a different place.
Yeah, man.
That's how I feel about it. I don't hear the weirdness in the album. Like, what is the weird part of the album? Somebody gotta explain that to me. It's too much singing. Drake does the same thing. Have you heard CLB? He's singing on that album, like always. Like he's singing on every album. So I don't get it. So Drake gets a pass, but Kanye don't.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. For Your Eyes Only, I definitely agree with you about that. But yeah, I have to hear the whole Donda before I really give my opinion on it. But my next
I,
album,
I'm not saying it's weak. I'm saying it's overrated. That's the whole topic. We talking about overrated albums, not weak albums. The album is overrated to me.
I'm gonna go with Lil Kim's The Notorious K.I.M.
Oh God, overrated as fuck.
Okay, yeah, very over. The fact that this charted more than hardcore, I put it on there because well, my list I kind of base it off criteria, like with if the bad album commercially did better than the album I feel like should commercially done better, then definitely. And this was like the best selling female rap album of 2000.
That?
Yeah,
What the fuck? What else came
I
out that year?
never,
I don't
I
remember nothing
never,
else coming out that year.
I never knew this until I
Well,
looked it up. I kid you not, I never knew until I looked it up.
China Doll was not good. So
And mind you, that's not even on my list. That's underrated too. So,
right? Oh God.
but back to this piece of shit. I was really gonna put the Naked Truth just based off what the source gave five mics, but a lot of people really don't care for that album like that. From what I looked up, so I decided to go with this one because there are certain fans. There are certain fans that like this album, or they say like, "Oh, people actually like this more than hardcore." Which
Nah,
I'm looking at them like, "Are you
they
fucking on drugs?"
they bugging.
Like, just the first track alone, Little Drummer Boy with CeeLo and Redman. Mind you, I love Redman. I tolerate CeeLo, but what the fuck was I? That whole album was just like a roller coaster, pretty much. Like
Is that
it was.
that's the song? That's the song where they were like in the court.
Yes,
I actually like that song, but it don't save the album though.
man. Like Revolution with Grace Jones and Lil C's. Oh my!
I ain't like that.
It's like I hate when they take these artists, which I fucking love, and then they do this fucking
I don't
crap.
like
Like
that.
how many licks? Well, I never really cared for
Trash.
Cisco like that, but
Don't like that
still,
that song.
the one of the few songs I preferred was Notorious K.I.M. when she was going after Foxy. That's like one of the few songs I like. I can't even remember. I don't even like when females say "suck my dick." I don't even
Yeah,
like when they say that
that was
shit.
a banger though.
Hmm.
She had some
I
joints.
mean,
I don't like the album overall though.
I have yet to listen to La Bella Mafia,
That was
and
better.
a
That was
lot of
much
people
better.
say it's better.
Mm-hmm. That was
Yeah,
much
so I
better.
might check that album out one day. But if I find out that the album is weak, expect another drunken rant from me. That's all I gotta say.
Like this one.
Yeah, I mean this one I was kind of fucked up anyway this whole weekend and shit. So yeah. So the Notorious K.I.M. and this was the beginning of White Kim.
White Kim. Wow. I think I got Redman on here. Unfortunately, I think There's a Dark Side is overrated as fuck. And I'm gonna tell you, I've already said why. Cause I spent 20 years with this album. When I got this album in '94, nobody was saying this shit was a classic. When I come online in 1999, I go to message boards like Underground Hip Hop and Hip Hop Site, and they say, "Oh, I see people making thread posts about this album." I'm like, where was this? Where were you all in '94? You know what I'm saying? Because even the Source magazine didn't give it a classic rating. Redman don't even like this album, and I've heard him say it in interviews. Don't like this album. Okay, I like some songs off this album. You know, there's about maybe a good 10 songs I could bump from this album. A lot of this shit, especially towards the end of the album, like Slide and Rock On, When I Come Around, I don't like those songs. Eric Sermon should have did the whole album. He had Redman produce most of it. I don't care for it. I think people get caught up in the red case, and they see the red case and be like, oh, it gives them nostalgia, and then they just say, oh, this shit is a classic. Without the red case, it's still a bad album to me. Okay, it got bangers, but for people that say this is a classic compared to Muddy Waters, compared to his first album, Doc's the Name to me is still better than There's a Dark Side. You know what
Mm.
I'm saying? That's just me. I dig the concept. I dig the whole, tribute to Parliament Funkadelic. I get that, but music wise, this ain't touching those other albums to me. He lost that energy. Like when I heard what the album in '92, it was energetic. He had like the most. Even when you look at him on stage, like he has a lot of energy. You know what I'm saying? That whole album
Mm.
was a vibe. When you get to this album, it's like depressing. It's and I get it. He was depressed. He lost it. I think his friend got killed or something. He was
Yeah.
in a bad part of his life. He don't even perform songs from this album at shows. He refused to do it.
He didn't perform at that concert.
He don't fuck with it. He don't like the album. It's the same way that Raekwon don't fuck with Immobilarity, and I like Immobilarity. He
I
don't
hate him
fuck with
over
that
there.
album. He don't like it, and he said it. I've heard him say it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I want to say it's like it has a cult following now, but I've never felt like There's a Dark Side was a classic. I never. It's not a whack album, but it's I don't feel like it's on that same level with his other albums that are actual classics. You know what I'm saying? That's my take on it. So I had to
Yeah,
put that on there. Huh?
and I agree. I mean, I agree
Why
with
why
what
is
you
it a
said.
classic though? Why is it a classic, Ronnie? I want it. Everybody that's saying that's a classic. Tell me why it's a classic. Don't just say it's a classic. Why is it a classic to you? Why is it a classic, Ronnie? You know what I'm saying?
I
Give me reasons on why you feel like it's a classic. Not just he was on PCP. So Coolio was on PCP when he did It Takes a Thief. That's a much better album to me. And people overlook that album for Gangsta's Paradise.
mm, mm. What was I about to say? What was I about to say? I mean, I hear what you say about There Is a Dark Side because when I first heard it,
Did,
I didn't like everything, but at the
do
same
you feel like it's a
time,
classic?
do I feel like it's a classic?
Yes. Yes.
Nah, I don't think like it's classic.
You don't feel like it's a
I feel like
classic?
it's a good album.
Okay.
It's a to me, and this is I feel like it's like one of the earliest examples of psychedelic hip hop, in my opinion. That's the way I see it. It was a
I'm
lot more.
no. No. I'm talking about when they used to have message boards. You know, undergroundhiphop.com, hip hop site, support online hip hop. Those message boards back then, they would have people on there making threads about, just regular music talk. And I've seen more than one thread about this album, and my whole thing, even in back then, was like, where were you? Where were you guys in 1994 saying this shit? Because nobody was saying this shit was a classic in '94. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, it garnered some online cult following over the last couple of decades. I get it, but that still don't change my mind about the album. It got bangers, but I felt like the downfall was Eric Sermon should have did the production. Redman is a dope producer. He's not a great producer though. You know what I'm saying? Like I think he fucked up on some of these tracks. With the beats. Some of the Eric Sermon songs, what the dopest. You listen to Cosmic Slop. That's a dope ass track. With Keith Murray and who else was, and Eric was on that joint. You know what I'm saying? Can't Wait. I believe he did Can't Wait, right?
Yeah.
Can't Wait. Love that song. That's why I say, if Eric Sermon gave me a whole 19-track album of that, it would have been a great album. I felt like Redman stumbled on a couple of those tracks, beat wise. You know what I'm saying? And it was just a different energy that he brought to this album that we didn't hear on What the Album. It's a different energy. When you hear Muddy Waters, that energy came back. When you hear Doc's Name, that energy came back. Even Malpractice. That's my whole issue with the album.
Interesting. Alright, my next album, Jay-Z's Volume 3.
You think that's overrated?
I'm gonna explain. And I don't dislike this album. I really don't dislike this album, but it's a weird album for me when it comes to Jay. Because for every good song like NYMP, you have a mediocre song like S. Carter or even Things That You Do. I feel like out of all the J albums, it has its good songs, it has its mediocre song. I feel like he didn't really know exactly what he wanted to do with this album. He wanted to be the street rapper, or he wanted to be like the strip club poppy rapper and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Volume 2 was more balanced when it came to that shit. You know what I'm saying? I felt like Volume 2 was way more balanced.
And commercial.
Hell, you said what?
And commercial.
Yeah. That was commercial too, yes. But with this album, I feel like people look at Big Pimpin'. Ask niggas, what you think about Watch Me? Ask niggas,
Fire.
What you think about Dope Man? Snoopy
like
track. Niggas don't talk about Snoopy track.
That was different for him at that time.
Yes. Very different. And yeah, Jay was jumping with different flows in that album too, which I feel like people don't always recognize and shit too. However, in comparison to Volume 1 and Volume 2, I'll pick those two over this album.
We didn't review Volume 3, did we? Did we do that?
I did a solo review.
Oh, you did a solo review.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't. There's some songs I didn't care for. It's a dope album still to me, but I wouldn't say it was overrated though. But it was in his eyes his Thriller album, which is totally untrue because he ain't dropped 9 singles from this album.
That's
you know what I'm saying? Maybe he wanted it at one point to be his Thriller album. Out of all the other stuff he was dropping, and Def Jam, they didn't promote it the way that he wanted because of the whole leak and the whole thing with Lance. But it's to me it's underrated, but I don't feel like it's overrated. There's some songs, the Mariah Carey song I don't like. The one that Swiss Beats produced. Then I like that song. She sounded bored on that song. Don't like that. And he's done stuff with her before. He did Heartbreaker. That was a fire track with Mariah. But
exactly.
Then I like that Things That You Do shit. The Snoopy track was different because at that time we didn't have a lot of East Coast cats collaborating with the South, and he was one of the first. And then you got Big Pimpin', which was that song. I didn't like that song at first when I first heard it, I'm like, what's this whack shit that Timbaland's giving him? You know what I'm saying? I did, like, I used to skip that song. I did not like it. And because of MTV, because of, the TRL era, it grew on me. It's still not one of my favorite Jay-Z songs all time, but it's a dope track. But I didn't like it when I first heard it. I just thought it was sounded like some Western shit. You know what I'm saying? New York wasn't ready for that shit. We wasn't ready for that yet. And Jay, it was like the primary person to make it cool to be from the East Coast and collaborate with Southern artists, because that wasn't going on up here. There's a lot of Southern artists that wasn't being played on New York radio.
Mind you, Pimp C didn't even want to do a song with Jay because of his loyalty to Pop.
Right.
Shit.
You know what I'm saying? Watch Me is a fire track. I love that. The joint with Dre and Irv Gotti did that beat. That shit is fire. You
One
know?
of the better
NYM. Huh?
one of the better Irv beats
Yes.
post 95.
And NYMP. Love that track. Emil was on this album on 2 tracks. He was on Do It Again with Beans. I love that track. She was on S. Dot Carter. I think she was on that joint on the chorus and shit. He got some bangers on here. What's the joint? The joint that Primo did. What's the name of that joint again?
Come and Get Me?
Co-
No,
no.
so ghetto. So ghetto.
So Ghetto. He needed a video for that. That's one of my favorites. I love So
That
Ghetto.
should have been a single.
Yeah, definitely. And the radio was playing that like it was a single already. You know what I'm saying? But I never felt like it was overrated though.
Instead,
You know what I'm
we
saying?
got fucking that Hard Knock Life ripoff. Anything.
See, and I like that, but yeah, I get it because it sound like Hard Knock Life. It sound like that. That's like the sequel to Hard Knock Life.
It's
And
no
he
wonder
put it
why I
on.
hate you, because
and
of
he-
Jay Z.
And he put it on the Beans first album as a bonus joint. So you know
He
what I mean?
always be doing that shit. He's putting his songs on
He
other
did that.
motherfuckers' albums.
To get them to sell. Same thing with Bleak. He put Dear Summer on the Bleak album to get him to sell because Bleak wasn't
That was
selling
the
like that.
best song on that album.
The best song on the album, and it still didn't help Bleak to sell. You know what I'm saying? So you should have did that for a Mills album.
Anything. That's
know?
why I never liked Annie. It was because of fucking Jay Z. Oh, that was from Oliver.
You should
Annie, Oliver, they were both orphans and shit.
he should have did that shit with a Mills album. Maybe she would have sold, but you know, you know what I'm saying?
He should have put So Ghetto on that shit.
Right? Then people would have bought it for that song. You know,
Hell,
at a
he could have
time when we
put,
didn't have streaming.
he could have put Give It To Me Baby on that shit. That shit was
Right, and that this is at a time when there was no streaming. There was Napster had just started, so you know what I'm saying. That would have sold a couple units for her, but I don't feel like it was overrated. I just feel like it's not talked about it as much as Volume 2. Even Volume 1 to me is underrated as well. I think that's an underrated project.
Jay probably like, put my song on the album so it will sell. Holla.
Right. Yeah. You already know.
We gonna put this song on Beans' album.
You already know.
Oh shit. We gonna whoop Nas in the ass.
Is that your bitch? That was on the Understanding album. That's a great song. I love that song.
Yeah, but that was on the European version of Volume 3 too.
Oh, was it? See, I got the
Yeah.
US version, the US OG version. I don't got the European joint.
Yeah, man.
The US version had like the bonus tracks was Girl's Best Friend and
Jigga My Nigga, yeah.
and Jigga My Nigga. Those were like the bonus tracks after the outro. That was the bonus track. So I don't got the European joint with Is That Your Bitch on it.
Yeah, but that's my overrated album for sure.
I don't got too many. There's this Drake Views to me was overrated. I don't think that's one of his best albums. I don't think that's one of his best ones. I'm putting Drake on it because that album was highly overrated when it came out. I mean, yeah, he got some big hits off of it, Hotline Bling and One Dance or whatever. But the overall, I thought that album was shit. There's about maybe 9 songs I like on that album. I'm like that album was highly overrated. They don't care for it. You know, I like I said, I think it's one of his worst albums ever. So that's on my list.
I I need to do a controversial one. Hold on.
I got a
Lupe,
couple that could be controversial. I don't know if they making the cut though.
I got Lupe Fiasco, Test Two and Use.
I don't like that album. That was
Oh my
terrible.
god. Oh my
Don't like that
god.
album. I didn't like the production. I think he sounded trappy on that album. No, not one of his best.
In the words of Steve Wilkos, it doesn't make sense.
What is the what
But
does the title mean anyway? What's up with that title?
well, I don't fucking know. Test Two and Use. What the
Man,
fuck that shit supposed to be?
you trying to be different, you know. What
Okay,
happened to him?
so
Like he fell off. I feel like after the Cool he fell off.
this is what Tetsu Shima is a character from Akira. Okay, now I
Okay.
Tetsu and Youth. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, but and you know what's the sad part is? This is actually my favorite Lupe album after the Cool, and I still think it's overrated.
Hold up, that's your favorite album after the Cool, and you have it on
No,
the over.
yeah, because y'all know how I feel about Fiasco. I like Lupe, but to me, I just feel like people make a big deal out of him sometimes. And
They
Food and
do.
Liquor,
I don't
yes.
hear nobody. I ain't hear nobody talk about him unless it was
Oh,
part of the whole Royce beef or whatever. They still talk about
well,
him.
this was back when he was really blowing. I remember this shit. Let me tell you,
Mm,
he was when he was really blowing up. Food and Liquor, I love that album.
that's a
Hip
good
hop
album.
classic. I will kill anybody that disrespect the album in front of me. The
Okay,
Cool, a
that's a good
very good
album.
album, near
Mm.
perfect. Lasers.
I have issues with that. I like some songs, but it was too commercial for him.
See, this is my thing, and this is my thing. When the Lupe fan base always gets to me and shit, because they make him out to seem like he's a hip hop Jesus and shit, right?
Mm.
Especially when it comes to the forms. And this album came out around the same time as To Pimp a Butterfly. Well, guess what album I was bumping the most?
Same. I was bumping Kendrick.
Right. And so when this album came out, people want to say, oh, well, this album was good too. It was just as good as Pimp a Butterfly. I'm like,
I don't
no.
think so.
And when I say it's his best album post the Cool, because Lasers was doo doo garbage. Food and Liquor 2
I didn't
was the
like that.
production was horrible on that
Did not
album.
like that.
Good God, and this was the era of the sequel hip hop albums and
Hmm.
shit.
Right.
The only built for my Cuban Links 2 isk albums and shit.
Mural. I didn't hear Mural. Is that another
The
album from him?
fucking I
I
don't
didn't
know.
hear
I
that one.
don't even know what Mules is and shit, man. Like I think that's either. I think that's a song here actually.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a single actually. Yeah.
okay.
See, that's how forgettable this album is and shit. So yeah, it's just the production was bland. Lupe was trying to do like you said that trappy flow and
That's
shit
not
like
him.
that. It's not. He just sounds lost. Like after the Cool, and I get it. He tried to kill himself. I get it with
Did
this
he? He tried to kill
label.
himself?
Yeah, when Lasers came out because the creative control. I talked about this. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah, man. But I like Lupe, but to me, he is not Nas level. He is not. He's not even Royce level. I'm gonna be real. He's not even Royce level.
I'm gonna tell you something, Moonflower. I'm about to say Moonwalker, Moonflower. um, I did listen to that album, the Drake and Future album, because
That's a
I
class.
was,
Not
I
class.
was, that's a classic too.
I didn't mean class. I meant to say that's a good album, but you know,
Because I was curious of the whole pairing. That's a dope album, and I'm not
it
a Future
is
fan. That's a dope
right.
album, but
Jumpman,
I feel
Jumpman.
like yeah, that's a fire. Your Jumpman is fire. I feel like they know they lane. You know what I'm saying? There's
Yeah,
people that go out of their lane and they fuck up bad. You know what I'm saying? Drake and Future know they lane. That's why that was a dope album. The production was dope.
yes.
But it is what it is. It's not. I'm not like, you know what I mean? Like we know what it is. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a Future fan, but I like that album that he did with Drake. I think it was a nice combination. You know, not
Mm.
that was not nothing that's like too left field or whatever. You know what I'm saying? but
We should
it
we
is
should
what it
review
is.
the album one day.
I don't think I'm gonna be quoting too much from Drake, but that's just me. Or Futures, but that's just me. You know what I
Me
mean?
neither.
You're gonna get a lot of the same old. Oh, it's a dope track. Next, you know what I mean?
Me neither. Shit.
Um, you just want to do it for the hell of it.
Yeah, cause I never knew you actually liked that album.
You'd be surprised what I like. I
I
like
never
different
knew. I was
things.
like, try
I
it. I
like
could
different
see.
things. I like different. No, I don't like Future. But I like. He sounds good with Drake. It's a good pairing. Like if
Yeah.
it was Drake and um Fonte, and I've always heard people say Drake stole Fonte's style or whatever. Would that be a good pairing?
I'm kind of intrigued about that, low key.
Drake and Fonte?
If it was '09 to 2012 Drake, then yes. But
No, I
anything
don't like.
post
I don't like everything with Drake. That I don't like. I just told you Views was a trashy album. I don't like everything with Drake. I like his early shit. You know when he So Far Gone, Thank Me Later, Take Care, one of his best albums. Nothing was the same. But to me, it gets murky after that. I don't like Views. I thought More Life was shit. BJ, I see you. You need to come on here. Uh, I like Scorpion. I thought Scorpion was a good double album. Not a great double album, a good double album. That's about it. The other shit, I don't care for this other shit. Even the new album, it was typical Drake. There's nothing spectacular about the new album. He sang, he rapped, he talked his shit, which is what he did on every album. There's nothing different with CLB.
mm,
You know what
uh,
I'm saying? Kanye as well. Kanye, I don't like everything with Kanye. I love his shit up until Watch the Throne. I said on here, but the Wyoming album or whatever the fuck you call it, that was trash. I don't like that. The two gospel albums he did was Jesus is King, another one. Pablo was dope, but I like the bottom half of Pablo. I think he ruined that album with all the mastering and taking off tracks, and he was still fucking with that album after it came out. You know what I'm saying? I like Kids See Ghosts, but not every album Kanye got is a classic. Let's be real about that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't like everything Kanye got. I said there's a certain time period from College Dropout to Twisted Fantasy that I love from him. I don't. And yeah, and the album cover was terrible. Like the emojis with the pregnant chicks. That's
look like
lazy.
some look like some we emojis and shit.
Exactly. I don't like that album cover. That was terrible.
Anyway, I got about two more albums on my list.
I
Fabulous Street Dreams.
I like Sweet Beams. I do like it. I don't think none of his albums are overrated. If anything, they're disappointing because he has no classic albums. That's what you should have said. Disappointing.
Well, I never
Okay,
liked them all.
this you don't like him? You never liked
You
this
know I
stuff?
never liked Fabulous.
Well, his mixtapes are better than his albums. But there's albums he have that are dope, but they're not classic. I love Street Dreams. Um, from Nothing to Something, Loso's Way. Those are his best albums to me. Even Ghetto Fabulous has some joints, but then none of them are classic. Like Jadakiss. Jadakiss got to me one great album, and BJ, I'm saying
Classic.
that because you, I'm saying it, I'm
Classic.
saying that because BJ's here, because BJ need to explain that to me why you feel like Jadakiss is the goat. Jadakiss got one great album, but it's not a
So
classic.
he said Fab and J have no classic albums. Nah.
Oh, they don't have no classics out, but you praising Jada like he's the goat though. And I will agree with you. Kiss the Game Goodbye is a great album. It's not a classic
It's a
though.
classic. It's a
No,
classic.
it's not a classic album.
But you said
No.
Last Temptation is a classic.
Yes, it is because it's a better
You gave
album.
him. Oh my. You hear this? You take an album,
It's
a grand album.
to me. If you look at the track list for Last Temptation and the track listing for Kiss the Game Goodbye, there's some skippable tracks on Kiss the Game Goodbye.
They are
Yeah,
a little
that's why it's
bit.
not a classic album. So how
Back
you say it's a classic album and the skippable tracks on here?
The same way I can say Ready to Die has skippable tracks, but I can still say I can get past
The
them because it's not bringing.
I don't know. Skip. Okay, there's skippable tracks, and then there's tracks that you don't like, but then you can listen. Like, friend of mine on Ready to Die. That's not one of my favorite tracks, but I can hear it. I don't skip. I can, it's not one of my favorites like Unbelievable or Warning, but I can listen to Friend of Mine. It's not a complete skip for me.
That's the same way how I feel about Cruising from Jadakiss. It's not one of my favorites, but I can still listen to it from that album.
But when okay, like there's a dark side. I don't like some of those tracks at the bottom. I skip those. But it has bangers. You know what I'm saying? With Kiss the Game Goodbye, he got a couple skippable tracks on there. But that to me is his best album for him. You know what I'm saying? Just for because I don't like his other albums. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
I don't think they were great.
Wait. BJ said all the songs Biggie did with Lil Kim I didn't
You,
like.
you're opening another bag of worms right now.
Wait. So BJ, you didn't like Get Money, Players Anthem, the whole
Wow.
hardcore album?
You didn't like another? I love that.
Well, I didn't care for another.
You didn't like another? What?
I didn't care.
What is wrong with
I
you?
need another. Like, come on now.
What is the best
You need
Biggie? What is the
here.
best Biggie? What is the best Biggie and Little Kim collab ever?
Get
Is
Money.
it to me? It's Get Money. Get Money is flawless.
Because Biggie was talking shit about Faith, Kim was talking shit about Biggie. It was just motherfuckers can't keep their dick and pussies to themselves in that whole fucking song and shit.
It's a near classic. What's a near classic, Sam? Kiss the Game Goodbye is a near classic. I disagree. It's his best album. I don't think it's a classic though.
It's a
Nah,
clap.
hell fucking no.
Well,
You would so that's an album. So okay, that's an album you would go back to, and you're continually playing that.
Kiss the Game Goodbye?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the only Jadakiss album I have. That's the only one that I would go back to in his discography.
So be it.
You know what I'm saying? But it's his best album. I don't feel like it's a classic with Ready to Die though.
Well, when I get the album from Amazon, we review the album. We going to talk about this. We're going to talk.
He didn't like
about
another friend of mine. But no, Little Kim not a friend of mine. She not a friend of mine, right?
Did you like the "fuck you" interlude, BJ? But I'm on fire tonight. Shit. Anyway, I got one more album.
Definitely
Blue.
Sam. I definitely agree.
Wait, do you have any more overrated albums?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Freddie Gibbs and Madlib Bandana. Overrated. I don't even think that was better than Pinata. I think Pinata was a way better album, production wise. Yes.
What?
It was dope. But the fandom again, his fandom listen, let's be honest, okay? A lot of these Freddie Gibb fans only jumped on late when Pinata came out. Before then, I heard nobody talk about Freddie Gibbs. Nobody. The same way I didn't hear nobody talk about Boldy James. Where were you all back in 2014? You know what I'm saying? If nobody talks about his other albums except for the shit he do with Madlib and the shit he do with Alchemist. That's it. They don't talk about nothing else from Freddie Gibbs.
Well, I can't lie. I got into Freddie Gibbs by the shit he did with Madlib. I can't lie.
Right. And
But
did you hear the price of tea in China? Did you hear that album?
I did not hear that one.
Did you hear Alfredo?
I heard Alfredo. I liked Alfredo.
Great albums. But let's be real. His best shit is with Madlib and Alchemist. All that other shit that he came out with, nobody checked for that. I wasn't seeing nobody flood the fucking timeline with, Freddie Gibbs album. It's all about Alchemist and Madlib. He needs to stick to those producers.
Because at that time,
he could probably do a dope ass album with Hit Boy. I wouldn't put it past him. He could probably do it. He could probably do it. Even though I feel like Hit Boy's overrated, but Benny used him and he came out with a great album with Hit Boy. Who's to say Freddie Gibbs can't do that? You know what I'm saying? The only shit I check for from Freddie Gibbs is shit with Madlib and Alchemist. That's it. I don't care. I don't check for his other albums like that. That's his best shit. Bandana to me was overrated though. Okay? It was dope. He had some bangers on there. But I don't think it's fucking with Pinata. I think Pinata was a masterpiece. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. Sam says Matt Villainy is overrated. I don't believe that. I think you're wrong, Sam.
I've heard that before.
That it's overrated? I don't think it's overrated. I think that's an album that got the right praise. It got the right praise.
Plays better.
Than Matt Villainy?
Yeah.
I love that album too. They're both great to me.
Yeah.
So it's like apples and oranges. I don't have no argument for those albums.
Right. My last album for my list, Blue and Exile Below the Heavens.
I got a lot of
Jesus Christ. First of all, that fucking album cover. Motherfucking head in the fucking clouds and shit.
Oh man.
I never liked. I tried to give this album a chance. This was another album where it got classic way too quickly and shit like that.
Right.
Like, give me American Gangster over this. Give me The Cool over this. Give me Graduation over this. People call this the best hip hop album of '07. I mean, it was just bland and shit. Like,
Right.
the beat sounded the same. It's forgettable to me. I just never liked this album and shit. Like, I don't know.
I got two more. My
Okay.
next pick is Outkast. Love Speaker Box Love Below. I think that is highly overrated.
I can't
I
get
love
mad.
only one part. To me, Love Below is a classic. I don't like Speaker Box. I think Big Boy picked the right songs for a single, but I think that's not even his best album. I still believe, Sir Lucis, son of Chico Dusty, is his best album to me. Then I like Speaker Box. I think it just it wasn't. I don't know. I just feel like he dropped the ball with that album, and for whatever reason, Andre's album was the better one. You know, highly overrated. You know, to me, I just feel like it was highly overrated. I love only one half of that double album.
Oh shit. Okay. To me, I like both albums, but I've always felt like Speaker Box was a better album.
No, I think Love Below is better.
Interesting.
I think Andre gave us a masterpiece, and maybe that's how he wanted to end his career, and he ended on a high note. Like there's some joints on Speaker Box, but overall, I don't think it's his. I don't think it's Big Boy's best album. I think Big Boy best shit came after that.
Can we just like appreciate the fact that the inspiration of Erica Badu gave us some of the best albums ever?
From Outkast, yeah.
No, just from Common too.
Oh, from Common.
Yeah.
Are you including Electric Circus?
Yes.
Okay. I don't think that's a great album though, but I mean, I respect your opinion.
Yeah, you really pushing it with me tonight. You really pushing it.
I do not think that's a great album compared to like Water for Chocolate and B and Find It Forever. I
To
think
me,
those
I
are his
like it
best.
way better than like Water for Chocolate.
What? Hell
Yes.
no. Hell
Yes.
no.
Yes.
What are you
Yes.
saying, Reg? Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Electric Circus is better than like Water for Chocolate.
I disagree.
Yes.
Hell no. That's some of
Yes.
Dilla's best production on that album. That's some of his best
Right? Yes.
production.
Some of Dylan's best production on like Water for Chocolate, but Electric
Mm.
Circus,
No.
that was yes.
Track for track, I think that's better than Electric Circus.
I disagree.
Wow.
I highly disagree.
That
To
is
me,
crazy.
when it comes to Common's discography, is very controversial. Like I
Wow.
like One Day It Will Make Sense way better than Resurrection.
Great album.
I don't care for his debut album.
I don't like it.
I feel like B is his best album.
Universal
I feel
Mind
like-
Control? You think that's overrated?
Who?
No. No,
Who
that's
said
not
that?
overrated. Q said
Who
Universal
said that?
Mind Control? Nah. No, that's
that's
not
his
overrated.
worst?
That's one of
his
his yeah, that's not overrated at all.
Shit, I feel like
Finding
Finding
Forever
Forever.
is great. I think that's a great album.
To me, it's B light. It's good, but it's
But
not great.
he was supposedly he was working on that album when Kanye was on tour. So I think it's a dope album, definitely.
I mean,
Underrated
it's
to me.
good, but he was doing too much singing on that album. It was like, way
What
too
is it
much
with you? What is it? I heard you, BJ say. What is it with you people in the singing? Like this is a
No,
part of
let-
hip hop now.
No.
How many? I could name 10 rappers that's singing. Like how many rappers was singing?
I'm just saying it was more
Mac
polished
Miller.
than it to be. That's what I
Mac Miller, Wiz Khalifa,
fuck with.
50 Cent did a little singing. Ja Rule did a little singing. Like are we really doing this right now? Queen
Can you let
Latifah
me
was doing
explain?
singing. Hello, Queen Latifah was doing singing on her first album.
Yeah,
People
she
remember
was
that?
singing on the first album, but that was dope.
Okay,
That was dope.
listen,
Yeah, you let me
unless
explain it.
unless you're taking singing lessons, I don't expect Common and Ja Rule to be professional singers. Then they would be R&B.
I like Player Hater, and Biggie was singing. What you talking
Yeah,
about,
but
man?
big, I don't even like that song. That was no.
See that's a classic.
What?
It's a classic. It's way better than
Wow,
another shit. Like
wow. It's a
when
classic
Puffy hit
because
that,
it's
is when Puffy hit that falsetto. Come on, man.
yeah, but you can tell they were having fun in the studio with that. I didn't take that
Ex-
song seriously though.
exactly. It was a good homage to the Delphonics, "Hey Love" and shit.
Okay, but Drake can actually carry a note. He can make an
Fuck
R&B album right now.
Drake. Fuck
I'm,
Drake.
I'm just saying
Fuck.
he could if Drake wanted to do an R&B album right now, he can do it and it would sell because he can actually carry a note compared to a lot of them that can't fucking sing that try to carry a note.
God.
I'm just saying.
T-Pain voice. God damn it.
How is
I'm
it? How
sorry.
is it not overrated? Why do you feel like Universal Mind Control is overrated?
Oh.
That shit was one of his worst albums. Like how is it? And I have it. How is it overrated? I don't see the overratedness in the album.
Well, before I go to my underrated list, you know, "Jealous Girl" by Mace was originally a diss track though.
For who?
One of them street niggas and shit.
What street nigga? An artist?
Yeah, it was a street nigga that he had beef with on the streets, and then I think he stole his girl and he made that song, "Jealous
I
Guy"
don't.
and shit.
I don't like both of them. I don't like that song on the Mace album. I don't like the Play Hater. So, give me something else that I can actually pick because I can't pick neither of them.
Baby, there's a jealous girl in our town. Oh,
I'll
yeah,
stick
that
to the
was
new
actually
edition one.
this.
I'll stick to the new edition one. Thank you.
Whoa, I was like, okay, now I have
Mm.
a slightly new respect on
I
that
don't.
song.
I don't like the ABC version either. I thought that was terrible. So
The
I'll stick to the
ABC
new
version is
edition.
better. That's the
No,
best
it's not.
version.
Then
That's the best version. That's the,
what are you? Are you drunk? What's wrong with you, yo? Better than
that's
the new
AB.
edition one? Better than
Yes,
what are you
yes.
talking about? Bobby Brown
ABC.
killed that song. What are you talking about?
That was a Chipmunk new edition. I didn't care for
What?
Chipmunk new edition like that.
And that was Ralph don't have that voice no more. So that appreciate
I
Chipmunk
know
Ralph
you,
because he
baby.
don't got that out. He can't do Candy Girl right now. He can't. And I saw him live. He can't do it. Okay, that was him in his prime of his life.
To me,
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he's high.
yeah,
Definitely. He's
yeah, yeah, Jessica.
no.
That was a diss track, but to a street nigga and shit.
But what street nigga we talk? We don't even know the nigga he talking about. That
I'm
could be
I'm
anybody.
gonna I'm gonna send you the video after this video
I don't like
posted.
that. I don't like that. That might be the only song on Harlem World I don't like. I don't like that song. I'm
That's
sorry. That could have been a bonus track if anything.
I was like,
Don't
Mace
like
is
it.
dirty and shit.
No. Don't like it.
How you diss a nigga to new edition?
No. 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 But you see the lane that this nigga opened for people. That's what I'm saying. He opened a lane for people to come out and sing. It's like another secret weapon in the arsenal. You know what I'm saying? Mac Miller was doing that. I didn't hear Mac Miller sing when Kids came out. He did that shit later on. Wiz Khalifa, same thing with him. You feel what I'm saying? He opened up a
Yeah.
lane so these niggas could come out and start singing.
I don't even have an issue with rappers singing and shit like that. As long as y'all can sing. Big Daddy Kane sang.
And he was
I don't
bad.
hear nobody
It,
talking.
it was bad. What do you mean? It was bad because he was chasing
I
radio.
mean, before All of Me, like he was singing on "Long Live the Kane" and "It's a Big Daddy" thing and shit like that.
Nobody talk. But yeah, but those are great albums. I'm talking about when he was chasing radio. When he was chasing radio is when he fell off. Okay, when you come
True.
out with shit like Groove With It, which is bad and very special trash, that's when he fucked up.
Very special.
Nah. On top of that, you got Spinnerella who thought she could sing, and she's on that terrible song. So, nah. He
I
fucked up
actually
doing
like
that
it
shit.
though.
Wow. You're the only person I know that likes that song. I do not
But
like that. I skip that.
I mostly like it for the original sample it was based from. That's
Then
why.
hear the original then. Play the original. You know, if I want to hear the original of Sister Sledge, he's the greatest dancer, then I'll play the album. I'm not gonna play Big Willie style. You know what I'm saying? Play the original.
Ah, uh,
You know?
Shoot, you got any more overrated albums? 'Cause I got a few underrated
I
albums. I
have
want to talk.
the last one is Snoop Dogg Dogfather. Overrated. I don't get
Overrated.
how. Yes, I don't. That is not a classic album. That is not a classic album.
I
You know that's
agree.
not a classic album.
It's not a
Okay,
classic.
it's dope for what it is. They got. There's still other dope producers out on the West Coast besides Dre. You know, I hope people realize that it wasn't all about Dre. You got Quick, you got Ant Banks, you got Daz. You know, Superfly is a producer. I think he's underrated also. There's other dope producers besides Dre, but I feel like if Dre did the whole album, it would have been a classic. I don't feel like it's a classic though. I feel like it's way too many songs. There's a lot of filler on there. You know, it's a dope album. There's bangers on there. I like it, but I'm not. I don't think it's a classic like Doggy Style. I still feel like his Three No Limit albums are better than Dogfather. You
I
know,
don't know if I'll go there.
you,
Wait,
you don't feel like Top Dog is better than Dogfather or Last Meal?
Top Dog, yes.
Last Meal is not better
Last
than
Meal,
Dogfather.
Last Meal's better than Dogfather. The Game, no.
What? Are you serious? With
I'm
No Limit
serious.
production, KLC on the beat, man. I'll bump that before I
You
bump
know I
Dogfather.
don't like that album.
I don't like No Limit. I was not a No Limit fan, but I love the three No Limit Snoop Dogg albums. I love those albums. I think that's his best work after Death Row.
I cannot wait till I cannot wait till we talk about overrated R&B albums next week and shit.
Oh man, that's gonna be fun.
I cannot
Let me
wait.
let me make my list tonight. I'm gonna make my list tonight.
Alright. Well, I'm gonna talk about underrated hip hop albums now. I'm
Okay.
gonna start off with a banger, the Nigga album by Nas.
I know why you're doing that. I know why you're
What?
doing that.
Why? Why am I
That is
doing it?
not that is not an underrated album.
Yes, it is an
In
underrated
terms
album.
of what production or album concept? Album concept, I'll give you that. Production, no, hell no, nah.
I didn't really have a big issue with the production in this album, really. Well, this will be
Again, is this an album that you're going back to and playing? Are you going back and playing this
yeah,
album? You do.
yeah.
When's the last
I
time you played
like
this album?
Reed. I like Fried Chicken. I love Y'all My Niggas. I love Sly Fox. I mean, it's not his best, but it's his most political album.
Okay.
Vinyl said it's a classic. I don't know if it's a classic though, but
Nah. Hell
I
no.
don't know. I won't call it a classic.
Hell no.
Hell, I'm listening to this Maze. Why am I listening to this Maze song, yo? What the fuck? But yeah,
This
nigga
this album
album.
is a classic. This album is underrated to you. I have the
Yeah,
album.
I got the
I
album
have
too.
to I have to look at the album. I have to look at the album track list because I don't play this album, and I can tell you right now, there's about maybe 3 songs I play on for here. I love "We're Not Alone" where he's talking about the UFOs and the
I
government
didn't
and the
care.
whole cover up. You didn't care for that song? That's one of the best songs on this album.
Did you like? I like Queens Get the Money over there,
No, I don't like that.
and I
That's the
hate
one
Jay
with the
Electronica.
that's the one with the game.
Nah, that's Make the World Go Round.
I don't like that song. The one with Chris Brown, I don't care for that song. Hero was okay, but that's still nothing I'm not gonna play like that because I don't like karaoke. I like the title. Well, not the title track. Nigga, the nigga song, the Slave and the Master. I like that song. Uh, that's it, yo. I don't like nothing else on this album. And the fried chicken joint, I like that one. That's
Yeah,
it.
Fried Chicken was
I do
dope.
not like. I do not like. Yo, it don't take that much for me to. If I hear an album the first time, I'm gonna remember it. And from like playing this album only once, I remember that I didn't like it. You know what I'm saying? And it still has not
Yeah.
changed. Like I have the album, but I don't play it. I don't like it. I think it's not good. I like the album concept because I feel like there's very few MCs that can tackle the issues that he talked about on the album. But the production did not match up with the songs. You know what I'm saying? He needed better production. This is one time where when you hear DJ Vlad saying that he's a bad beat picker, yeah, for this album he was bad beat picker.
So now you're gonna bring up Vlad.
Yes, I'm bringing
Now
up.
you
I'm
bring
going
up
there.
Vlad.
Yes, I'm going
Now
there.
you wanna go there tonight?
I'm
You wanna
I'm
put the
not.
gloves up?
I'm not saying. I'm not. I'm saying I don't feel like that. I'm saying, but when you hear people say that, you gotta look into it and be like, with a side eye, like, maybe they right, because the production on here was not good, and he has other albums like that. Hip hop is dead. I don't like the production on the album. The Nasir album, the Nasir album was done by Kanye, and I love Kanye's production, but he fucked up on Nasir. Okay, it wasn't. There's no memorable songs from those albums. You know what I mean? So this is the one time I'm like, yo, like I gotta look at Vlad with a side eye, like, yo, maybe Vlad has a point, because I don't like the beats he picked for Untitled.
Now you bring up Vlad. Okay.
I'm just saying, hey, Hero is overrated. I agree. I think it's an overrated song, and that was like all over the damn 106 and Park Countdown and shit. What's Common's best album? I have more than one. If I had to pick one, I'm gonna pick like Water for Chocolate. But I think B is a classic. I think Resurrection and One Day It All Makes Sense are classics. He got 4 classics to me, in my opinion. I don't know how Reg feel or anybody feel about Common's discography. To me, this man has 4 classics.
Classic albums: Resurrection, One Day It Will Make Sense, Like Water for Chocolate, personal classic, Electric Circus, and B. Keyword on the personal classic. It's not a universal, it's a personal classic.
Queens Get the Money, that was okay. But again, I don't like the beats he picked for Untitled. It could have been way better.
Alright.
And you still want to review this, right?
Yeah, because
Okay.
I got a few Nas albums, and one Nas album, I'm just going to say I got Streets Disciple, so.
You got it? And I want that one, because I actually like that album. Not a classic. He got some bangers, but it's not a classic.
It's alright. Give me Untitled over that one.
Oh, man. Now, give me Streets Disciple over Untitled.
Whatever happened to him?
Huh?
Whatever happened to that Quan dude?
I don't know. I never heard of him. Yeah, BJ like Streets Disciple too. I love it. Thieves Theme was on that album. He had You Know My Steez. I like that joint. He had American Way with Khalees. Seiku's Story. He has some joints on there. The Virgo joint. Huh?
I didn't like that Khalees song.
You didn't like that? Bridging the Gap with his pops, Olu Dara. Fire.
That was dope.
That was dope. He got nominated for a Grammy for that joint. Remember, he was at the Grammys with his pops. He did the
Jay-Z got some bad beats too, but we don't talk about that though.
No, I already said Jay-Z got some shit. Blueprint 2 and 3. Shit.
Dirt Off Your Soldier.
No, I love that. I love that Timbaland joint.
Bad,
what? You don't like that?
Beat. I didn't like that beat. I didn't like that.
Wow. You don't like the Timbaland joint?
No, that was
that shit was fire. You crazy.
That was basic.
Dirt Off Your Shoulder? You don't like that?
Nah, I never liked that shit.
Wow. I think that's fire. Black Album's a classic to me. Love it. Blueprint 1 was great.
The only 3 songs I didn't care from Black Album was My First Song, Dirt Off Your Shoulder, and Justify My Thug.
And I like that. Quick gave him a banger. It's not his best shit, but it still thumps.
That was the worst Quick beat I've ever heard. And I never said that about a DJ Quick beat. That's like the only time I would ever say that about a Quick beat. That's the worst beat.
Wow.
And it's from the so-called GOAT.
That's a banger.
Even Eric Sermon gave this nigga a good beat and shit.
That's a banger. 99 Problems. That's fire. What? What's wrong with y'all?
What?
What is wrong with y'all, man? I'm seeing Cuban Link. Marcus, you think Cuban Link is overrated? What the fuck? I never heard that.
Now y'all going way too far.
Blueprint 1 is a classic.
What do you got for underrated, Al?
Underrated? That shit is a lot. Where do I begin? I'm freestyling. I ain't write no list. I ain't write no list. Underrated, I'm going with Sticky Fingers, Black Trash. Underrated album. A great concept album. I love the characters in that whole story with Kirk Jones coming out of jail and starting his life again and trying not to go back in the pen. and you got his brother, the late great X1, on a couple joints with him, and who else was on that album? Eminem was on that album. You know, and this is Marshall Mathers LP Eminem.
Yes.
You know, you got Dave Hollister was on that album. Raekwon is on that album. That album was fire, and it's a shame that Universal Records did not promote it like they should have. And I think he made a movie for that album. I never saw the movie, but that's a great concept album. Great. I suggest people listen to that. But the autobiography of Kirk Jones, Black Trash, Sticky Fingers' first debut album, solo album, classic.
That album was probably one of hip hop's best cinematic masterpieces.
Definitely on wax. Definitely.
Yes, that's up there with Eternal Affairs
Hmm.
and shit like that too, man. Like I'm listening to Oh My God right now, and just the delivery, the unorthodox delivery, this motherfucker has and shit like that.
You think Cuban
Hold
Links is
up.
underrated? Hell no. Cuban Links is a classic. It's not underrated. Hell no.
Oh, that's underrated?
Yeah, I don't. Nah, he's not. It's not underrated.
Nah, it got its just due over the. It actually got
Y2K is underrated.
better over the years when it comes to its just due, especially when Rick Ross and everybody else tried to do the album and shit.
What about Ice Cube? I think Lethal Injection is underrated. I think that's a great album.
Yeah,
Dope
that's
G Funk production he did. You know, Ghetto Birds. I love that joint, and you know how we do it. Classic album in my opinion. I don't think it's I think it's underrated. I think that's like his underrated album.
yeah. My next choice, I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with Tyler the Creator Wolf.
Okay.
I think it's very underrated in my opinion. Because this came out at that time when he was leaving that juvenile kind of ordeal of Goblin,
Right.
and he was trying to experiment with jazz a little
Right.
bit.
Hmm.
To me, and this my I felt like this was he was very influenced by the Marshall Mathers LP with this one,
Right.
especially with tracks like Answer and Awkward. But then you have then he really throws a loop when you have songs like Tree Home 95 with Erica Badu and Coco Owino.
That joint I
Like I
like. The
said,
one with Erica. That was a dope
yeah,
joint.
like I said, anytime Erica gets in the mind of rappers and shit, I don't know. I don't know. It's like these rappers they get in a rare form I never see. Like when she's like, I wanna go dun 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 bum bum.
Yes, sir.
Woo! What man, that shit is fire.
Wow.
Slater with Frank Ocean.
Hmm.
I fucking hate you with Pharrell. I mean,
That was
I'm not
dope.
even the biggest Pharrell fan and shit, but when he's not with the Neptune, when he's solo, he actually does his job and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
this whole fucking album was a masterpiece and shit, in my opinion. I actually like this more than Flower Boy. That's the
Okay.
crazy shit, and I like Flower Boy. I feel like both of those albums are my two favorites.
Hmm.
But to me, Wolf, that was a time in high school I can never get back. That's all I gotta say.
Right.
Shout
Yeah,
out to
I
that.
gotta go back and hear that album again. It's been a while. Definitely been a while. Um, Another one of my favorite underrated albums, Sky Zoo and Apollo Brown, The Easy
Ooh,
Truth. That is a classic album. That's one of my favorite Apollo Brown albums. Like that with any artist that he's done. Like the production was just it was just melodic and it was still banging. And Sky Zoo has always been an underrated lyricist. You know what I mean? And they just fit. They just fit. Like you know when you hear joints like one in the same and Basquiat on the drawer, on the Stretch and Bobbito show where they actually like use the part of the Stretch and Bobbito show to start the song off, and Visionary Riches, Spoils of the Victor, classic album. That's one of my favorite Apollo Brown albums ever of any artist he ever worked with. So yeah, definitely highly underrated.
dope. Okay. Mm. I'm
Marcus
gonna go
said
with.
Capital Punishment is underrated. No,
Believe it or
no,
not,
it's not
I've heard
underrated.
people say that.
Really?
I've heard, yeah.
This is the first Latino rapper ever to go platinum. And y'all feel like that's underrated? How? How was that underrated?
Because sometimes people like to mention the poppier songs than the more deeper songs. I've noticed that with motherfuckers.
But he had like maybe two pop
22.
joints. He had one pop joint on it. He had the joint with Joe, and you had your favorite song with Miss Jones on it that I don't like. That's it. Everything else was straight underground, super
I
lyrical.
mean, you came up.
That's pop to you? With Nori? Nori
It's
wasn't no
not
pop
pop.
artist.
It's not pop, but some people might call it pop too.
How? Nori ain't never went pop. He ain't no pop artist.
He tried to go pop, but we all
It,
know what happened with
it
that.
has it's catchy. It's a catchy track, but it ain't pop. Not for me. At least not to me. You know, you got joints like Beware. You know what I'm saying? Caribbean Connection. Like that's a straight underground album that
Ooh,
managed to go multi-platinum. The first ever Latino to go platinum, and you say it's underrated. I don't see. I don't see how it's underrated.
alright. My next joint, the one probably the greatest final album in hip hop history. Diggable Planet's Blowout Cone.
Yes,
Whew,
dope album.
man, this was To Pimp a Butterfly before To Pimp a Butterfly.
Okay.
This was the blackest hip hop album ever, in my opinion.
Blackest, the blackest hip hop album.
The blackest hip hop album. Like this was hip hop at its best. 94 was a good year. Like a
It
lot of dope
was
albums came out in
definitely a lot of
94, but
classics in '94 came out.
yeah, a lot of classics and shit. But to me, this one is probably like in my top five. And this was around the time when they were not seeing eye to eye with their label and the group. And then even the album cover alone, the blowout comb, like that's just symbolic in the
Yeah.
African American community and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like where do I even begin with the songs? Graffiti with J. Wu the Damager. Black Ego. Oh, Four Corners, like da 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 da. Hey, da 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 da. Oh my shit. Bowo Check with Guru. Dow 7 Axioms of Creamy Spice NY21 theme, my nigga. Ninth Wonder Black Ato- Oh my god. I like Reaching. Reaching was good, but they were more Tribe Called Quest with that album, which I love. I love that album. But this
Hmm.
album was just damn way ahead of its time. And
Right.
I hate the fact that they broke up. To me, I hear people compare Digable Planets to the Fugees. And now when people want to say, "Oh, what about the Fugees?" That was the last album. To me, this is the score is
Digga,
not touching the alcohol. It's not.
I'm not going that far now. I'm not going that far.
Yeah, I'm going
No,
that far tonight.
that because
Yeah,
if it come down to both albums, I play the score more.
I play Blackout as well.
Diggable. I think they were more deeper with their lyrics though. You know what I'm saying? But I still the score is still a great album though.
I like the score, but I'm not gonna lie. That was just good because the fact that if let's just say if they didn't have Killing Me Softly, it didn't
Mm.
have Ooh La La and stuff like that. You know, do you think people would call that album as? And I'm not bashing it by any means. I'm just
Right.
generally asking you. Do you think people will call the album as it is?
But is it a classic because of those hit singles, or is it a classic because of the overall music on it?
I mean, it's a classic for the overall music,
Hmm.
but as the pop mainstream, that they ate it up too, and that's like one of
This
the best selling
yeah,
albums of all time.
yeah, the singles play a major part in an
Yeah.
album being successful. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
But I'm not looking at it from what singles was released. I'm looking at it from like a overall a complete 360 from the first album, which was terrible. I should have had that on the list. You know what I'm saying? Terrible, but that's definitely a complete turnaround when you hear the first album and when you hear the score. They sounded more focused. It sounded like a completely different group. I'm like, well, where
Yeah.
was this on the first album? You know what I'm saying? the hits made a huge difference. Fuji La was huge when that came out. Same thing with Ready or Not and Killing Me Softly rendition. I always thought How Many Mics should have been a single as well because they were playing that anyway on the radio like it was a single. But that album is great. I don't have no nothing bad to say about the score. You know what I'm saying? And that's an album that I played to death. You know what I'm saying? I don't even play it no more because I played it to death. You know what I'm saying? But if I had to pick between Score and Diggable, I'm going with the Score. But Diggable, I like Diggable second album more than the first one
Yeah,
because
he said the
of
first album was too abstract and
it.
shit.
Yes, and that's how I felt about like even when we look at De La changed over time. When you hear like Stakes is High, they simplified it because I remember like people complaining about it was the first album, the second album was too abstract. That they switched up and they made their lyrics more understandable to follow along compared to 3 Feet High and Rising. You know what I'm saying?
Interesting, because I've heard the other way around when it
That
came
it
to the
was
album.
it was complex.
Well, not as complex or abstract as Balloon Mind State, but certain
Mm.
songs like people sometimes had to like re-listen a couple times because that was like one of those albums that foresaw hip hop for what it became and shit.
So
But
they had an issue with Stakes is High. I thought Stakes is High was like their most promoted album ever, and
it was.
their lyrics were more. They simplified it, like they dumbed it down. Like when you
Yeah,
hear,
but
when you hear joints like Stakes is High and it's so easy. Like I can understand what True Goy is saying for once, compared to on 3 Feet High. When I was like in fifth grade, I didn't know what the fuck they were saying, but they were just different and they sounded dope. That's just what it was. Like I was an instant fan because they were different, but I didn't understand what they were saying on the first two albums, and then Balloon Mind State. I was already in high school, so it was easier for them to. I understood what they were saying on that album compared to the
yeah, I
first
didn't
two.
understand what most of that shit was Balloon Mind State to me. I felt like
That
Balloon Mind
because they
State.
they were. I remember reading the review in the Vibe magazine, and they were against mainstream pop, and it was like
Yeah.
on the intro it might blow up, but it won't go pop. So they were. That's like an album that was totally against pop music at that time. So I understood what they meant on that album. Now, if they had did that for the first two, then I would have understood them. But I
Yeah.
didn't. I didn't get it. Back in
Interesting.
88, 89. So Diggable first album. I liked the production. It was real jazzy. It reminded me of the Native Tongues, but a lot of their shit went over my head because I didn't know. And they had their own lingo for like, for nickel bag. That was for weed or whatever. Of course now. You know what I'm saying? But back when that came out, we wasn't saying nickel bag for weed over here. You know what I'm saying? It was a different term back then. So it was like swoon units and shit like that. I didn't understand what that meant back then.
Yeah, I feel you on that. I So is it your turn?
I'm just reading the comments. It's just hilarious right now, yo. It's hilarious right now. The score wouldn't be the same without Pras and Wyclef. Yeah, but you see what Lauren did without them. She still came out with a classic. So picture the score with just Lauren over those beats. I think it still would have been a classic without Pras and Wyclef.
Sure. Those are so Legion.
Legion was good. Salute. Donda is not overrated. Please
Oh
stop
my
that.
God,
We are not talking
Donda.
about Donda. You don't
Oh,
like you don't like Ye. I get it. I don't feel like it's overrated. It's not overrated. It's not underrated. The album just came out. I think it's he's focused. I do agree with that. He's focused on this album, and he sounds happy. Okay. Another underrated album for me was Black Poet from Screwball, the Black Print. Highly underrated. Um, all production done by Primo, except for I think Easy Mo B did like 2 tracks. But the joints on here like Ain't Nothing Changed, and he took a part from like a Akon song and sampled it on from the 50 Cent I'll Still Kill track. And you hear like the track Voices where he's like talking about having dreams of like Easy E coming back and Biggie and Pun in there. I thought that was like a dope concept song. and tracks like Hood Crazy and Nate and Hate with Notorious on that track. I thought it was a great album. It went under the radar. I didn't even know it came out when it did. But yeah, Black Poet and Screwball, I think they've always been underrated. You know, as a group, you know, coming from Queensbridge and solo wise and definitely underrated album.
Interesting. Okay. All right. Jay-Z returns, Volume 1, underrated. Yes,
You
I'm
think
gonna go with
Volume One is
this.
overrated?
Underrated.
Underrated. Yes, I do.
I've said this plenty of times. This could have been on the level of Reasonable Doubt if it was not for two songs. Y'all know what those songs are.
Okay, so minus the two songs. Okay, so you saying if there's two songs that wasn't on the album, it would be a classic?
Yes, because those two songs brought the quality of the album down to me.
You think so? Just by the two songs?
I know what
Um.
girls like.
Okay,
Come on,
and what's the
always
other
be
one?
my sunshine.
I love that song.
I
The
hate that
video, the
song.
video, I don't like. Well, I mean, the video was Hype Williams in his prime. I think maybe people didn't get the video at that time. It was colorful. It was colorful. That's what Hype Williams brought color to Belly. Like that was his thing, was color. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't mind. I don't like the green blazer that Jay Z wore in the video, but you know what I'm saying. I don't like that.
Willy Wonka looking
Yeah.
motherfucker.
The video was Hype Williams. I love that song. I think the song is a banger. To have Babyface on your album when Babyface was not doing collabs with rappers, he still don't really do it. He like you could count maybe on one hand how many collabs he's done with any
LL.
rapper. Huh?
LL.
LL?
Yeah.
LL what?
He did a song. He did that Shalimar cover with them.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean I know, but that's on Babyface album. I mean like for a rapper's album, like it's not too many. It's what? It's Jay, Weezy. Who else he did a collab with for the album? It's not that many. He did the Jezebel remix with Outkast, but that's not on ATL Leans. You know what I'm saying? But I think that's a dope album. Like I think it's a great, one of his best albums. You know, there's this. I know what girls like. I mean, it's skippable. You know what I'm saying? But I think it's a great album. Yeah, but that's what made, first of all, Hype stood out because of the colors in his videos, because nobody else, little X wasn't doing that. Um, Spike Jones wasn't doing that. You know, Ralph McDaniels wasn't doing that. But Hype Williams stood out because of the color and his cinematography in the videos. You know what I'm saying? That's what got him that deal to make Belly. Like if it wasn't for, those videos like Sunshine, it wouldn't have been possible for him to do Belly in the first place. You know what I'm saying? Like we were drawn to Hype. Like when you saw a Hype Williams video, you knew it was Hype because of the color, because nobody else was doing that. You know, when's the last time you seen a video now in this era that you can be like, yo, this is a dope ass video? It's been a long time since I can say that. I like the grimy videos, like the videos that Nems put out. Like he stayed in Coney Island and he be on his block with his peoples and he put out like the grimiest hood videos. You know what I'm saying? Like the way it used to be. He ain't paying a whole bunch of supermodels to be in his videos and promoting his clothing line and all that. He getting chicks from around his way. You know? Kanye and Drake album that Jay-Z blocked. I never heard it. I heard somebody mention that to me. I never. If they made a album, I didn't hear it. Was the Sunshine video that bad? Where was? I guess we lost Reg. It was Hype Williams. That's just how I took it. It was Hype being Hype, man. You know what I'm saying? That's all it was. It was Hype Williams being Hype. I mean, compared to the shiny suit shit, I'd rather look at the Hype Williams videos.
Hmm.
You know?
Yeah, man. Without those two songs, I just personally felt like it would have been a classic.
So are you gonna do a review for that?
Yeah, that's a review that's coming
Oh,
soon.
that's what did you have it in your first review for that?
I think I gave like a 4.5. I wasn't really rating albums like that back in the day.
Oh
I was just reviewing shit, like literally just reviewing shit.
shit, yeah. Now people take what we say seriously now. I gotta like really rate these albums how we think it's gonna be rated.
Hey.
God forbid I gave a Ja Rule album a 5 mic and people went crazy. You know what I mean? What are you talking about?
I don't even
You
think I
know?
gave a 5 mic album to Ja. I don't think.
To what? For Ja Rule?
Yeah, I don't think I gave him a
You,
5 mic.
you didn't give Rennie? I thought Rennie was 5 mics for you.
That was 5 mics. Yeah, you're right. That was 5 mics.
Yeah. It's a great album.
What about the
Uh,
DLC? No one can do it better. That's not underrated to me. I feel like that gets its proper due.
that was dope, definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely dope. And it's so many, man. There's so many underrated gems. Um OC Jewels, underrated.
ooh,
Classic album. I love the first two OC albums. Even though he has other solid projects, but I feel like the first two are like great, man. Like Jewels, the production went up a notch on that one. You know, he tried to, he got his little radio play with Far From Yours. You know, because he had like the R&B chick singing on the chorus, but still, with like minus that, like Primo laced them with some bangers. You know, DJ Augie laced them with some joints, and Lord Finesse. And production was great. The production was good. The songs like it's My World and War Games with Pharoah Monch and Prince Poe, Win the G with Bumpy Knuckles, Dangerous with Big L, classic collab. Every track on there was fire, man. Like that's a masterpiece to me. You know, definitely a 5 mic, underrated 5 mic classic.
definitely. Yeah. Not to go off topic, but there's a new
Mm.
show on Fox called Our Sisterhood is Sacred. You ever heard about that?
Nah, what's that about?
I think I don't. It says it's inspired by our kind of people. It's a book that takes place in the inspirational world. Martha's Vineyard. Well, it looks like one of those
Is it?
feminist soap.
Oh, about to say is it horror? Cause
Nah,
it's not some shit I would watch. Then I don't watch
yeah,
like, my shit, my taste, man. I don't like too much drama shit.
yeah. Just because it's black, they expect me to
If
like
it
it.
if it ain't action, comedy, horror, or sci-fi, I'm probably not gonna fuck with it.
I cannot wait for this. The one with the sisters track on ABC with the hip hop one.
Yes, Queens.
That
That's
Queen. That's the
that's
one I can't.
October. That's October. That's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks good. We might have to
Uh,
do like a whole series review on that.
really.
Something different. I want to get into doing some series discussions.
We were supposed to do it for
That
Raising Kano. We just
I
got
know.
lazy.
I got some shit coming for October for Halloween. So
Same.
I'm not. Yes. So, but yeah. Well, we could still do Raising Canaan because it's only 3 more episodes left before the season finale. It's only 10 episodes for the season.
Oh shit. Okay.
You know what I mean? So and
We can do the finale.
we could do that. Sunday's episode was good. That was a good one too.
Yo,
Somebody
Sunday's
died on
episode.
Sunday. You saw Sunday's episode?
Yeah.
That was crazy.
I was like, oh damn.
Yeah, we saw the Janet teaser for next year. That's definitely gonna talk about that when that
I didn't see that
drops.
either.
I sent you I sent you and BJ the teaser. You didn't watch it yet?
I was doing my homework.
Oh yeah, you gotta check it out. Definitely, that looks good. That looks good. And we're doing when is the Rick James one?
That's whenever you're ready.
I'm ready now.
Oh, okay. Well, we can pre-record it tomorrow after the Nori review.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rick James one was good. That's a good one. I still feel like they left shit out.
They, I, I'm going to talk about that because that's one
Okay.
of the major disappointments of the documentary and shit.
Right.
Um, yeah. You said Jewels.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. I need to wrap up the albums. I do got to finish this paper. I'm gonna go with one that not a lot of people talk about. I-20, self-explanatory.
You told me about that one.
Yeah, and I'm gonna keep telling you about that one. Shit. For those who don't know who I-20 is, he is an affiliate to Ludacris, in my opinion, one of the best DTP affiliate in history. Fuck
What?
Chingy,
Are you
fuck
serious?
Chingy.
Little Fate was better. Little
Okay,
Fate.
I'm not gonna argue with that. I'm not gonna argue.
When we did the review yesterday, not yesterday, on Sunday on Word of Mouth, I like
Yeah,
the Little Fate tracks. Like he really fucked up with their members, yo. They fucked up
they
with
did.
Shauna. They fucked up with Little Fate, and they rushed to promote Chingy. Like why?
They out of all the motherfuckers, they didn't fuck up on. That's the
Right.
motherfucker.
And to
But
me, Chingy was like another version of Nelly. They were from the same place, right?
that
St.
was,
Louis. They're from the same place.
but to me, the biggest disappointment was letting this motherfucker get lost after this album.
Right.
Holy fuck! This album, to me, is a masterpiece.
Uh-huh.
This is a personal classic to me. I don't care what no
Okay.
one says. This is the personal classic.
Okay.
Like this is that raw Southern hip hop, Def Jam, fight for New York, strip club,
Really? Fight for New
fucking
York?
ribs,
Really?
ribs music and shit.
Lord.
Like, where do I even begin? Break bread with Ludacris and Bone Crusher. Oh my fucking god! Hennessy and Hydro. Slow fucking with Jesus. This is that gutter kind of shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But instead, we got Shiggy and Tyrese bitching about some female and some shit. Every time he try to leave, something keeps
Trash.
pulling back.
Trash.
I was like, "What is Jody doing, man?
What is Jody doing?
What did he do to Yvette this
What you
time?"
doing, Jody? Jody, what you doing?
But yo, to me, I'm trying to get this album too, man. This is one album I'm trying to get. The album, I got the DTP compilation, so it makes sense for me to get this one.
Right.
Yeah, this one we have to talk about. It's an obligation. We have to talk about this
Oh boy.
on the anniversary on October
When
5th.
when you put it that way, Reg, it's an obligation.
Like this and Theater of the Mind are my favorite albums from DTP.
Oh
Period.
God. And I don't like Theater of the Mind. I gotta go back and hear that though. Yeah, it's been years. From my first remembering of it, I didn't like it. Not
Oh,
good.
it's a classic to me.
It's a classic too? Oh Lord.
To me, it's a classic.
Oh boy. Of course it is. Of course
Keyword
it is.
personal classic. Nah,
Personal
I'm joking.
classic.
It ain't no personal. It's a good album. Ain't no
It's
personal
a good album
classic.
too.
Yeah.
Alright, I got one more. My last one is a recent album. Well, maybe like last 2 years, 3 years. This Smith and Wesson, the all
Ooh.
classic album. That's right. I'm saying it's a classic album, an underrated classic.
My man.
All beats produced by the Soul Council, Ninth Wonder in Crisis. You got some heavy hitters on here. Rick Ross is on the Smith and Wesson album. Rick Ross. Yes, Rose, your boy. He got Raekwon, the chef, on this album. Musique Soulchild. I haven't heard Musique Soulchild on anybody's album in years. He's on this album. You got who else is on here? You got Rhapsody's on the album. I forgot about Rhapsody. Salute to her. A classic album from beginning to end. No stupid ass skits. No interludes, just straight bangers. Every one of them. Staffalar, Testify, my favorite Dreamland with Raekwon and Heather Victoria. The title track, let me tell you, every track on the all is fire. I've played this album a lot on vinyl and I have the CD. Classic album. This is probably the best Snips. Smith and Wesson album since The Shining. You know,
I can't get mad.
Rude Awakening was cool. I think this is better than Rude Awakening though. Yes. We got
I
to
can't,
review this joint. We got to review this joint.
yeah, that's a good
Like
album though.
for the anniversary. Definitely got to review
Okay.
this joint.
Alright. Alright, I'm gonna run down these albums, and stuff like that, and I'm not gonna take too long on them because I do gotta get some shit done. Run DMC's Tougher Than Leather is my next album.
Classic. I love that
Ooh,
album. Their best album
yes.
to me. That in Raising Hell.
I can't get mad about that. I don't understand the hate for this album, in my opinion, because was, in my opinion, their most hip hop album next to the first album.
Right.
Like, and they said, and I quote, they said that they were influenced by Rakim and Kane on this album and shit.
Right.
So yes, and it shows and shit. You know what I'm saying? Then Jam Master Jay, Rick Rubin, they had like a more sample based sound and shit like that. Like beats to the rhyme, beats to the rhyme, beats. To me, like one of the best usages of Nautilus,
Yes.
in my opinion.
Fire.
Run's House. This is where the theme song came from.
Whose house?
Run's
Ryan's
House.
house. Fire.
Yes,
I
Papa
love it.
Crazy. Yes. This was to me like their most lyrical album. Like Run definitely did his thing on this album. Just like his best album
Right.
with Run DMC and shit like that. Like niggas really, because he had more that simplistic style, more with DMC compared to DMC and shit like that. But
Right.
this album, he was really like cursing a lot more and shit like that. Man, I fuck with this album. To me, this was the last great keyword great album.
Right.
'Cause
Mary, Mary,
Mary,
why you
why you
bugging?
bugging?
I love that joint. Come on, man.
Yes. Like
Man.
some days I do like this more than Raising Hell. I'm not gonna lie. Some days I
Right.
do like it a little bit more than Raising Hell.
Yeah,
But
it's
to me,
great.
Raising Hell had that Proud to Be Black track too, so I can't get mad
Yes.
about that.
Yes.
Alright.
Definitely.
AZ.
Classic, man.
AZ 9 Lives.
Yes. Another banger. Slept on.
Yeah. See, I got some joints here. I got some
These are the
joints.
joints we should be discussing. We should be discussing non-lives.
Yeah, instead we just talk about Nelly.
So, exactly. Got me talking about Nelly. Got me talking about every Ja Rule album ever.
Hey, I thought Ja Rule was your boy.
Yeah. Up until Last Temptation.
Oh,
You know.
but that's a 5 mic. Okay.
I didn't like it, the other albums after Last Temptation. Like All You Early and I like Blood in My Eye. That was okay. But not a
Gotcha.
classic. Not a classic.
The Last Temptation is.
Yes.
I don't understand. But okay. But yeah, to me, 9 Lives was very underrated,
Mhm.
and a lot of people say this was like one of his weakest albums and shit.
What? Who's
Yeah,
saying that? Oh
Borns
man.
be saying that.
Man,
Even
look,
critics.
I got this the day it came out. I got this the same day it came out. Classic joint, man. The Problems joint and At Night.
Ooh,
Yo, the At Night song. There's something that AZ said years ago about this album. I don't know, like, there was some controversy with like the producers, and he wasn't giving credit to the real producers, so he was like giving credit to like other producers or some shit.
I heard about that.
So like, there's some songs on here that like the At Night song sound like a Primo track, but it's not Primo that did it. It's somebody else. Yes. When you hear there was some controversy with that. There was like joints that supposedly Timbaland did, but he didn't get the credit for it. I don't know how true that is. You know what I'm saying? But you got the Beans joint is fire. The Foxy Brown joint is fire. You know what I'm saying? Salute to Foxy Brown. It was her birthday yesterday.
Yes.
He got some bangers on this album, man. Like this is one of my favorite AZ albums.
Yeah, man. Because originally he was supposed to have came out with the album I think called Sosa
Yeah, the mixtape.
or some. Yeah, but that
Hmm.
ended up becoming like to a mixtape, and that was dope too. I'm not gonna lie, that was dope
Yeah,
too.
I
I feel
saw
like
that the same day I bought Nine Lives. I saw that mixtape in the stores and I never bought it, yo. And I wish I did.
yeah, I feel like if they gave some of these beats to Jay, it would have been a more better commercial album than this album and stuff like that. This is my personal opinion,
Right.
but that's AZ Nine Lives. I feel like this one and Asiatic are his best albums in the 2000s, especially that
Definitely.
Asiatic one.
I agree. Definitely.
Baby, take it off. Baby, you can't wait. That was that joint, man. Shit. Yeah, but we're talking about Nelly and shit.
Right. Oh Lord.
Hot in here.
Mm-mm-mm.
All right, so now we're gonna get into the West Coast. Daz Dillinger with his first album, Retaliation, Revenge, and Get Back.
Yes.
In other words, the last great album on Death Row Records. Um, this came out in '98,
Yeah.
2 years after their peak and breathtaking downfall, in my opinion. Like, I feel like Death Row was like the only label that can have its peak in the same year as its downfall. We'll
Right.
talk about that one day.
Right.
But this album, you can tell a lot of these tracks was like recorded like '96 and stuff like that, and he was getting ready to leave the label around this time because of we all know unpaid royalties
Hmm.
and shit like that.
But he won the
And
case.
you said what?
Maybe he won the case against Shark.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
he won the case and all that shit. Cause I even if you guys watch like the Vlad interview he did, he was talking about around this time. He said he wasn't really messing with a lot of those new death row cats because Snoop had left, Corrupt had left before him and shit like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. But this album to me was very good. Vintage death row with this one, like
Hmm. Yeah.
you have songs like In California with the very underrated Val Young. Um, fucking Riding High with Dub C.
Fire.
It's Going Down with Corrupt and Printed House Joe. I mean, this whole fucking album was just a West Coast. It was just like a West Coast classic, in my opinion.
Hmm.
Way better than that trashy ass Corruption album. Corrupt. Way better.
Right.
Because that was like one of the worst double albums in hip hop, in my opinion. Like, God.
Yeah. Drake can say.
I always consider The Streets of Some Mother as his first album.
Right.
That's how bad it is.
And Initiated. I like that joint too. The joint with Pac.
Yes,
That joint was
that was
fire.
dope.
That joint I heard on the Machiavelli bootlegs for some reason.
Yeah, man, that was a very hot joint.
Yeah.
I need to get this album. This album's stupid expensive
Same.
too.
Yeah.
Like in the vinyl store, they sell this album for like $50.
Damn.
And even on Amazon, it's kind of pricey on Amazon too, a little bit.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
yeah, man. I'm gonna stay on the West Coast. 'Cause I got 4 more albums. Well, yeah, I got 3 more
Yeah.
albums left. Excuse me.
Okay.
Yo Yo, Black Pearl,
Fire.
very dope joint.
Hmm.
This joint right here was way more. In my opinion, this is her best album. In my opinion, I've always liked her first 2 albums the most when it comes to
Right.
Yo Yo.
Right. Right.
You Better Ask Somebody was cool. I liked it. But the thing with You Better Ask Somebody, that was around the time when they were really trying to gangster, like make her more
Right.
gangster
The G
and
Funk.
shit like that. And then with the Total Control album, they were trying to make her sexy, like in
Right.
that. It was like those albums were just so weird. Like her Unsung was dope episode 2.
Hmm.
She kind
That
of
was
explained
good.
those albums, but to me, the Black Pearl album was the album where everything came together
Yeah.
and her creative control was really input. I mean, you still had Sir Jinx, you still had Pooh,
Hmm.
Cube was still executive producing it.
Right.
I mean, where do I make some of the songs like So Funky with
So funky.
DJ Pooh, love that track.
Yeah.
Um, there was a one track. Yeah, that was a track. Interesting story with that track.
Hmm.
She was close with Pac around this time, and Pac heard the track So Funky, and he loved that song so much. I think he wanted to be on it, but I
Wow.
think it was a bit too late.
Hmm.
And mind you, he the same sample that he used for So Funky, he used that to make Keep Your Head Up.
Right.
So the So Funky joint used the Be Alright, Zapp and Roger Be Alright sample, and that
Mm.
influenced Pac to do Keep Your Head Up and shit too.
That would have
So
been fire, man. Pac and Yo Yo.
yeah, and Yo Yo was I think originally supposed to have done I think Dear Mama with Pac. I think.
Wow,
But I could be wrong on that.
that's crazy.
I
And
saw one of
they
those
were dating,
videos.
right?
Yeah, they were dating, I think, around that time.
Yeah, that's
Shit.
crazy.
Yeah. Cleopatra.
Mm. Fire.
One of DJ Muggs' best beats is Long Way Home.
Yes,
Man.
fire.
She did her own version of the I think the Woman to Woman track. I think the Shirley y'all know the track. I think it's about Shirley Brown and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
This was a very dope album. It pains me that this album is not really on streaming and shit like that because it's not even on YouTube. They only
Right.
have like the first four tracks on YouTube.
Yeah,
And so I was just like, that's what made me actually get the album and shit. So
I gotta get that.
yeah, man, it's very hard to come by
Yeah,
too. So
I know. Our first two
yeah,
definitely. I got the last. I got You Better Ask Somebody in Total Control, like you mentioned.
yeah, I don't even have Total Control.
Yeah.
Yeah, to me, her first two albums are my favorites. You Better Ask Somebody was cool, but
Mm.
like I said, it was the '93 flavor of that album. I guess
Right.
that's the
Right.
way to
Right.
put it.
Yeah.
Marcus Messiah said Biz Markie's first album was slept on. I definitely agree with you on that.
Yep.
I feel like people love the second album a bit more because of Just a Friend. I
Right.
feel like the first album was more hip hop sounding, in my opinion. I'm just gonna be
Mm-hmm.
honest.
Yeah. You right.
But his discography minus Weekend Warrior was very good.
Yeah.
All right, last two albums. Twister returns with Adrenaline Rush. Now, like I said, I mentioned, I don't really care for Kamikaze, but to me, like when it comes to Twister,
Mm.
'90s Twister was him at his prime.
Right.
I've not heard the first album when he was Tongue Twister. I've not heard that one, but this Adrenaline Rush, I consider this like his breakthrough album
Right.
because this one had joints like Emotions, Get It Wet, that track.
Mm-hmm.
It feels so good. Overdose, like he was definitely on his mafioso shit with this one too. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Definitely.
When he was down with like the mobsters and shit like that. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, they tried to do a sequel with that Adrenaline Rush 2007, which that was trash. That had that joint with T Pain Creep Fast. Oh my god. They were promoting the fuck out of that album too.
Yeah. Was
I
that
remember Rap
was that highly overrated?
I never really heard the whole album. I heard a couple of joints though, but that was all I needed to hear. So, but to me, no one really talks about that album. But no one talks about this album, and it's kind of crazy too because when we talk about Midwest hip hop, it's always E 1999, Eternal,
Kanye.
and then the Slim Shady EP, LP.
Kanye.
Well, I'm only mentioning the '90s that time,
Oh.
but yeah, but Kanye, that's another story on a different day because he
Common.
low kind of did revive Twista
Mm-hmm.
and shit, if that makes sense. But
Mm-hmm.
those albums like that and shit like that. But I felt like Adrenaline Rush to me, that was Twista at his prime, like especially when he that the fast rap, and that was him at his prime.
Mm-hmm.
Production wise, it had like a more futuristic, melodic kind of sound and shit like that. That only Twisted can rap on.
We do it right.
Yeah, like fuck Kamikaze to this day. And shit. Like I said, his best albums to me was Resurrection and Adrenaline Rush. I'm spitting all over my laptop. God damn.
Oh my god. You need a mask, yo. What's going on?
Let me stop. And my last album, this is a controversial,
Mm.
Common's Electric Circus.
Oh boy.
Yes,
Mm.
way better than Like Water for Chocolate
I don't know how you can say that.
because I can't say it. Now, I felt like the album cover, he was
It's
doing too
terrible.
much.
Yeah.
It was a Sergeant Pepper ripoff and
Mm.
shit. It was a Midnight Marauders Sergeant Pepper ripoff. If you can get past the album cover,
Mm.
you'll witness
I barely could.
you'll witness like musically some of his best songs. Like this nigga had a song called Star 69 with Bilal and Prince.
Oh boy.
Yes, come on,
What
like
was Prince thinking?
Jimmy was a rock star with Erica Badu.
Oh
You
Lord.
cannot tell me that shit was not dope.
Doper than like Water for Chocolate? No.
Now I'm not saying all the songs was
No, I'm
essential.
going.
Like,
I'm saying track for track. I think track for track, like Water for Chocolate, is better.
well, I feel like Electric Circus is better. Maybe because I'm more of a psychedelic person. Shit,
Oh,
yeah, I know I like and like when I talk when we talked about your favorite group Metallica, where we talked about like the risk that they were taking.
hmm
I felt like with Common, if you listen to a Common album,
hmm
you mostly going to get like the "Be Right with To Your Woman," "Shot Town," yada yada yada, all that shit. And I'm not hating on that. I'm not hating on
hmm
that.
hmm
I just felt like he took a very different. I like when he takes different approach. Like what one day it will make sense.
hmm
You can say he took a different approach with that one because you had more like them battle rap kind of
right.
songs like that would joint with cannabis and shit like that.
Yes,
Like you didn't have that shit with Resurrection or with like Water for Chocolate.
right.
And then even with Electric Circus, now you had songs like "Come Close," bad video though, with the fucking
Yeah.
the fucking flashcards and shit,
Oh
the
Lord.
fucking flashcards and shit.
Mm.
But songs like that, you know what I'm saying?
He did
And
everything. He did everything in that video, but drink apple cider. He did everything but drink hot apple cider. I was waiting for him to so somebody give him like a cup of hot apple cider and drink it with his little sweater on and shit. I was like, what is this? What happened to Common at that time?
well, but if Andre would have done that, you would you have liked it?
No, I thought when I first saw the video for Hey Ya, I thought that was weird as fuck. I'm like, what the fuck is Andre doing with his straight? He looked like DJ Quick with his straight hair. I thought it was DJ Quick. I'm like, is that DJ Quick? He's playing the guitar. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what was wrong with Andre and Common at that time? Like it was like Erica Badu's pussy just
Erica
like
Badu.
it just did something to them, yo. Like it got magic in it or something.
But "Hey Y'all" was a dark ass song though,
Was it?
Yeah, the lyrics was I think talking about like a suicide or some shit. That's how I
Okay.
like it. It
And it
was
sound
it was
happy
that
as fuck.
poppy. It's like when Van Halen jumped. It was talking
Mm-hmm.
about motherfucker jumping out the building and shit. And David Lee Roth just jump.
Right. Oh man.
But I like when motherfuckers make dark songs when they hide it with a pop beat and shit, and then niggas be
Right.
dancing to that shit. And I know what they be dancing to. I'm like, y'all dumb
Right.
fucks.
Right. Moonflower.
Y'all
Little
y'all
Nas X
dumb.
is weirder. He weirder than Andre right now. So
Don't ever use Andre and Lil Nas X as
this
excuses.
nigga showing up pregnant on an album cover. How do you show? How does a guy get pregnant? I don't understand.
Well, I don't want to know about that shit. Well, when Andre is weird, he does not use
Mm,
gimmicks for his weirdness
right.
as Lil Nas X. Let's
Is that
let's
what it
let's
is? It's a gimmick. I hope not. I mean, that would be bad for him.
see. This is the
Don't.
I feel like if we give attention to Lil Nas X, he
Mm.
does these things and shit. When Andre does these weird things, people don't pay attention to that till
So
years
you
later. And
so
shit.
so you don't think he's actually gay? You think he's a straight man that's doing this gimmick?
I'm not saying that. If
Oh.
he is gay, he's gay. If he's straight, he's straight.
So then
But I
what's the
feel
gimmick?
like if you let me explain. I just feel like, when it comes to these guys and stuff like that, they try to have this agenda when they try to influence the kids and stuff like that by
Right.
saying it's okay to be act all out when it comes to making people know that you're being gay and shit like that, especially if you're a gay rapper. Now we never really had an openly, and I hate calling Lil Nas X a rapper and stuff like that. But
Right.
if he is what's considered a rapper these days, then I'm gonna refer to him as a rapper in this sentence, because that's why the baby got into that whole big issue with what he said about the whole HIV and stuff like that. Which, yeah,
Mm.
it was fucked up for what he said.
Mm.
But other rappers, think about other rappers. If Lil Nas X did the same shit he was doing when fucking who was the motherfucker? Like when Snoop did that Dre Day track,
Right.
he was saying a lot of gay lyrics for Tim Dog and shit like
Right.
that, like rubbing nuts on your tonsils and shit like that.
Right.
But niggas
Kim
don't want to
Check.
talk about that.
Mm.
Niggas don't want to talk about that shit. But at the same
Right.
time, with Lil Nas X, it's like he is pushing it to people and stuff
Right.
like that. Like I have
Right.
no issue with the LGBTQ community. I don't want people saying that. But I have an issue with people giving their attention when we already know for a fact that he's gay, and that's why he's doing it more because it's just what
Mm.
he is
But
trying to
I
express to people.
I think also it's up to the parents again. The parents, they have to really like look at what their kids are listening to. Like if your 4 or 5 year old know who Lil Nas X is, that's a problem. Because then you're putting those images in their head at a young age, and they might grow up fucked up. You know what I'm saying? And they might go to school, confused and not knowing what they like and what they don't like, and end up liking everything. You know what I'm saying? So, I think the parents got to come in and really parental be parents and parental advise what your kids are listening to and what they seeing. You know what I mean?
Exactly, Marcus. Luke's bending like that whole like the diss tracks in the '90s, like even Compton Most Wanted
Mm,
and stuff like that. They had some lyrics to Tim Dog where they were talking about like fucking him and shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
right,
Biggie, don't you know my nigga gonna fucking kidnap kids,
right,
fuck them in the ass, throw them
right.
over the bridge. Yeah,
Buju
like they
Banton,
were, huh?
Buju Banton, Batty Rider. That was a controversial song for back then.
Yeah.
You know,
Who else? Who else? Somebody else said one lyric and shit like that.
Biggie
Biggie
song.
even
Yep,
quoted Richard Pryor.
yep,
You look so good. I'll suck on your daddy's dick.
yep. Biggie again.
He quoted Richard Pryor. We all know
Yep.
Richard Pryor. We
Hmm.
all know about Richard Pryor. That's all I gotta
Yep.
say.
Yep.
That's all I gotta say. Shit, we know what Pryor be doing and shit.
Yeah. You know.
Shit, Pryor even said it on stage. He said he was in bed with the nigga before he said it on stage
Well,
and shit.
I just feel like the generation is so young and they follow these artists from a young age, and it's that the wrong lyrics and images are gonna confuse them before they even hit 13 years old. So that this it's the us up to the parents to make sure that, well, like, why is your 4 year old listening to Lil Nas X anyway? That's my whole thing.
DMX, that nigga K Solo can suck my dick.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So it comes down to the parents. Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion. Why does your kids know about WAP? They shouldn't even know that song.
Boy, don't even get me started on
You know
that
what I
shit.
mean? So you
I actually
can't
like
have
that song a little bit.
yeah, but you an adult. You can't have these rap artists uh, raising your kids. It's still coming down to the parents. You know.
Mm. But yeah, man, Common's Electric Circus.
Hmm.
Yeah, but that's my whole
That's
overrated,
all.
underrated list.
Well, this was interesting.
Yeah,
This was
3 hours.
interesting.
3 hours,
Wow,
man.
3 hours
Like I
of,
said,
of a
that
lot of
was
shit.
interesting.
These was oh man, oh man.
Like I
I
said,
seen.
I didn't know you wanted to join on this one too and shit.
I
But
told you I made the list weeks ago though.
I thought you meant the fucking Quincy Jones
You
list,
know, I
man.
took I took forever to do that one.
But
I took
yeah,
forever to do one.
I gotta get my R&B list ready and shit because
Oh
that's gonna be
boy,
another controversial one.
that'll be better. But I feel like there's a lot of R&B, overrated R&B albums. So yeah.
I might already just say like there's a 50-50 chance you're gonna see like at least 3 Beyonce albums or some
Oh
shit.
God, she's always overrated. So take your pick.
Shit. Expect some shit. Damn. I don't even want to say it. Shit. Frank Ocean, second album.
Frank
Shit.
Ocean. Oh,
His second
Blonde.
album. Yeah.
Overrated? I don't know. I like it,
I
but I
don't
don't know if it
know.
was overrated.
I don't know. Yeah, I have to think about that. Let me think about it. But yeah,
It,
so let me get some announcements out the way because it's about 2 in the morning and I didn't even eat dinner yet. So
me neither. It's all your fault.
I got some mac and cheese saved up and shit.
It's all good. I got some hamburger helper in the fridge.
Shit. Anyway, so what today is? Today's Tuesday. So tonight
Yeah.
we're going to talk about Nori's first album, an album I have not heard in years and shit. So
Oh man.
yeah, so you know what that means and shit. I gotta really give my thoughts and shit.
Great.
Cause Nori's been Mr. Popular lately.
Yeah. I'll make sure I
But
tag him so he can watch along.
yeah, man, cause we did some Wu Tang, we gotta do some Nori and
Mhm.
shit.
Of course. You know, when in Rome.
Do what Romans do.
Yeah. You know.
Alright, then Thursday we're gonna stay in Queensbridge this whole fucking week, I guess. We're gonna talk to Nas, we're gonna review Nas' King's Disease 2.
Oh,
And yes, everybody, I am gonna do Streets Disciple, all them other albums and shit. We are
I'd
gonna
rather you do
finish
them
them.
first, but that's just me.
Well, I'm trying to do a lot more current reviews and
Okay.
shit now.
Right.
Like, not every new rap album I'm gonna do a review on and shit. Wait, hold up. Doesn't AZ's Do or Die 2 come out this week?
Yep. Friday.
Friday. Oh wow.
Yes.
Hold up.
I believe it's
We
Friday.
did say we were gonna do
Yeah. Az.
this shit. Okay. Is it actually gonna come on Friday? Cause this nigga.
Yes, it will. No, it's dropping. I believe it. It's dropping
Okay.
finally after
All
all these
right.
years. So
Cause I'm trying to also cut back on reactions. Cause I have some. Let's just do a review on that one. Cause I have to get these
okay.
copyrights out my ass first
Right.
before I do any more reactions. I'm gonna get some copyrights out my ass.
Right.
So probably pre-record that
Yeah.
during my break and shit. I guess.
Okay.
We've been waiting on the album for like 23 years and shit.
It seemed like that, right? Jesus.
Then yeah, Kings of These 2 is still gonna be on Thursday,
Okay.
and then Sunday, my last video before my break is gonna be the double review between Kanye's Graduation and 50 Cent's Curtis.
Yes, I am discussing Redman album. I already said that, Sam. You don't remember? We mentioned that already.
Yeah, I was originally gonna do it on 9/11, but
Right.
I don't know. I think I might. I don't know. I might be busy
Is
that
that a
day and shit.
9/11 is 9/11 now. It's I know it's 20 years. It don't affect me like it did 20 years ago. So
No, no,
it
not because of that. Not
oh
because those both those albums came out in 9/11. That's why.
right, right,
Yes, that's why I was really. I might be busy on that day, so that's why I pushed it
right.
to Sunday and shit. Like if I want to hear about 9/11, I watch CNN all day and
Yeah,
shit.
I don't
Yeah,
want to even watch none of those documentaries. I'm like, we already lived through
same.
that shit, man.
Mind you, it's the
You know?
20th anniversary, and they have that concert and shit like that.
Right.
I'm like, how many 9/11 concerts? I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
you know.
like people don't want to relive all that stuff, And I'm like, I
Exactly.
feel sorry for the victim, but people don't always want to relive that shit.
Exactly.
Yeah. Moonflower says, is Neptune's
Yes.
President Clone's albums underrated?
Definitely.
I never heard
Dope
the
album.
album. So.
You got Snoop is on that, Nelly, Jadakiss, Supercat, Nas, Khalees, Eclipse, Buster, everybody's on that. Great
Wow,
album,
Jadakiss and Nelly. Wow.
right? Yeah, on one album, and Snoop Dogg, and yeah, it was dope.
Right.
I might review that one day, cause I do want to do that one, cause nobody talks about that one.
Interesting. Okay.
Pop shit, yeah, pop shit was on that. ODB.
Yeah, man. But so just to let y'all know, September 27th is gonna be the collection. My collection is looking pretty tight
I
now.
just I just got a new pickup today. I got a new pickup. I got a
Yeah,
new pickup.
I just got some pickups last night and shit. I'm like, okay, it's looking pretty.
Yes,
It's getting there.
I got
I
a new
might
pickup.
I might do some more Amazon pickups and then that's it for me this month
Right,
because
right,
that DC trip was like, okay, Reg,
right.
all right, but
Yep.
that's gonna be like 2 more weeks.
Mm-hmm.
No, fuck, 3 more weeks. Excuse me.
3 more weeks. Okay, 3 more weeks to get some more shit.
Yes.
Yes,
Then with the surprise review, and
yes.
I told you the surprise review, right?
No, you did not.
Oh, okay, I'm gonna text it to you right now.
It'd be a surprise to me, like the same day that Reg announced it. Like, well, that's what we talking about. Okay.
Cause I told you, I know I told Ash too, so I thought I told you.
This is what we do, Vinyl. Like we set aside a whole live stream show to show our recent pickups, and then we've been doing this for a while. This is nothing new. You know what I mean? We should
Just
start
texted me.
numbering them. We should start numbering them now, like pickups volume 8 and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Better than that, I hope everyone has a good night.
Oh
Hey, y'all,
yes, you did tell me. Okay,
see?
I forgot. But you told me this like months ago. I gotta write this shit down. Yeah, I mean, like we'll just be having a conversation and you'll tell me. I'm like, oh, okay. When is that one? When is that one we doing?
September 27th before the
Okay.
pickups.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, BJ.
Where he at?
Can't wait to go watch.
He left. He left a long time ago.
He did.
He didn't answer my question. I'm gonna get him. You will answer why Jadakiss is the go to. I want to know, damn it. It's my
Alright.
destiny.
So yeah, so hope everyone has a good night. I am about to get some dinner started and get some homework started.
All right.
Thank you so much, Try, and I'll see y'all. I'll see y'all in about
Tomorrow.
11 hours, I guess. Fuck it.
Yes.
Peace.
All right. Later.